welcome to Wrestling Days Live. We are live for this week's Wednesday Night War, and it's going to be an interesting one tonight. Nothing that's too out there. No, like, championship match. We've been drowning in, like, championship matches in recent times. No, like, championship matches, but we are starting the tournament for AEW. AEW, of course, are trying to find a new number one contender. And we've got a tournament that's going to end at Full Gear. That's starting tonight, and we've got some very, very interesting matches. I actually think, that I'm a bit more excited for the shows this week. It's kind of crazy because, like, it's always exciting to get title matches, but when you get title match after title match after title match after title match, I mean, you do very quickly realise these titles are not going to be changing hands. Like, you just don't see that many title changes. So I'd rather not see title match after title match after title match. And actually, thinking about it, there is a title match tonight. NXT has got the tag titles on the line. But AEW don't. They're doing a tournament. So we're going to see people like Penta versus Fenix, which should be absolutely fascinating. Kenny Omega in action. I think Hangman's in action. I'm sure the whole first round is in action. So I've got it written down actually. We've got Fenix versus Penta. We've got Kenny Omega against Joey Janela. We've got Hangman Page taking on Colt Cabana. And we've got Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. So these kind of like the quarterfinals. Next stage would be the semis. And then, of course, we'd have the final. So yeah, I like it. I like the people that are in it. I think I don't know where Darby Allin is, to be honest. I kind of feel like Darby Allin's missing. There must be a reason for that, that I can't think of for whatever reason. But Jungle Boy's in. That's cool. I'd like to know how these people qualified, actually. Did they qualify via AEW Dark or something? How did we get down to these 8 people? Like, surely everyone's in it. Is this the 8 people with the best records? But then saying that, how's Joey Janela in it? Okay, I've definitely still got a few questions when it comes to the tournament, but I am on board with it. I do like it. I am interested. I think it should be just some great matches. All the matches have got a purpose. I can't see anything silly there. I think that we should just be getting some solid matches. So I'm totally down for all of that. So genuinely looking forward to AEW tonight. The steak dinner I'm not sure about. Man, I know that I might be in the minority on this, but I really thought that MJF Jericho segment last week was poor. I really didn't think it hit the mark. I didn't think it delivered what it needed to. I think there was a better way to build this. And I'm not looking forward to that. So I am going into that a little bit like... NXT-wise, we got Kushida against Velveteen Dream against Tommaso Ciampa. Triple threat match. That tag team title match, as we said. And the belts might change hands there, actually. Might change hands. At least it feels a bit special just having one title match this week rather than 7 or however many it was last week. So Breezango against Undisputed Era. And then Swerve, Atlas, and Adonis versus Legado del Fantasma. Not really feeling that. I kind of feel that Legado del Fantasma need to have a proper feud, like really Undisputed Era, instead of like just random people that are thrown together. So, yeah, not really feeling that. But Kushida Dream Ciampa should be awesome. Breezango against Strong and... is it Strong and O'Reilly? I think it's Strong and Fish, isn't it? I don't think O'Reilly's in the match. But whoever it is should be a lot of fun. John says, Undisputed Era is going to win. What match are you most looking forward to tonight? Maybe Phoenix Penta. They faced each other many times before. They know how to deliver a great match. So the chemistry should be off the chart. I mean, honestly, Phoenix Penta is kind of like the Lucha equivalent of Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Like, they know each other, they've wrestled each other, they've traveled together. You just kind of think that if two guys are going to be able to put on an incredible match, then that should be it. And they both want to progress, and they're both incredible talents. They can both do stunning stuff in the ring. I kind of think as well, when you've got when you've got two luchas in there, when you've got Fenix and Penta, I find the non-stop high-flying action a little bit easier to take. I kind of feel like if you've got a lucha in there against a brawler, like if you was to put, say, Rey Mysterio in against Brock, then, Brock's going to win that. And, Brock did, because of his size and his strength and his power. And I just kind of feel that, like, the lucha flipping around and everything, they're just going to get swatted away. Whereas here, where you're putting a lucha against a lucha, it's hard to know who's going to win. It's hard to know who is going to come out on top here, because I kind of think they're both going to be flipping around at such a speed that, no one's got the advantage, really. I mean, when it comes down to who's the quickest, I would say it's marginal. Who's the strongest? You might lean towards Penta. He's a little bit bigger, I believe. But again, I'd say it's marginal. I mean, if you're going to say Penta's stronger, I'd argue Fenix is quicker. But this is, for me, what I enjoy about wrestling. This is what I love about wrestling. Forget all the hoodoo, voodoo, supernatural malarkey. I love two guys in a ring and breaking it down as to, well, how do you think that's going to go? Well, he might be stronger, but he might be quicker. But he might have better cardio. And then, like, you can really start getting into, like, both of their... This is why I wish there was a bit more statistics. I was really excited when they said they were going to bring in stats. And the only stats that I've seen, to be honest, is the win-loss record. I mean, I would love it if AEW were to give us, like, average match time. So, Phoenix's average match is 7 minutes 10, but Penta's average match is 9 minutes 20. Well, all of a sudden now you go, well, hang on, Penta can wrestle, has wrestled longer. So the longer the match goes, does that make him more of a favourite? Like, I love all of that kind of detail because I feel that it adds to the match. Because now when the match starts going long, you're sitting there going, this isn't looking good for Phoenix. This isn't looking good for Phoenix. And it kind of adds extra layers to the match. So it actually helps the match. So that's why I'm into all of that. But, so yeah, I wish they would, for year 2, season 2, whatever they're calling it, I would love to see AEW bring more of that in. I'm sure Tony Khan owns a statistics company. So, I mean, really, it shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to get that information very quick, or have a company that can get that info. So yeah, I'd lean that way. I do think that Kushida, Dream, and Ciampa will be a very good match, but sometimes the triple threats can be a bit crowded. Sometimes they can be amazing. But yeah, I think right now I'd say Phoenix Penta I'm most looking forward to. David Paul, shout out to you, my friend. Hope you are well. Hope everyone's well. David Paul says, AEW news, Tony was on Being the Elite. Avalon versus Cutler 3. The big one, guys. That's going to be on AEW Dark. I'll be honest, I don't watch Dark, so I'll also be honest, I haven't seen Avalon Cutler 1 or Avalon Cutler 2. But the fact you're telling me about it sort of suggests that there's a bit of interest there. So there we go. For anyone interested, Avalon Cutler 3 is on Dark next week. The Ali and QT storyline is over. Okay. Tony sign KTB. Who's KTB? I mean, all I can think is like cute Tessa Blanchard with a K. Who is KTB? Why is that not ringing a bell? David Paul, let me know. WWE Michael Events says, nice stream. Nice comment. Shout out to you, WWE Michael Events. Appreciate the support, my friend. Thank you for joining us. I'm literally just setting up. I haven't even got around to setting up. Oh, I haven't even sent the text out, have I? Text. Look at me, I'm like an old man. Tweet. I haven't even sent the tweet out to let people know we're live, but as I've said before, people really should know by now. So, yeah, 2 very interesting shows. I like the fact that we're not drowning in championship matches. Let's go down. I've got a feeling that MJF or Jericho will throw a jab at Vince or WWE during the steak dinner. Maybe. I would hope not, to be honest. I don't like it when AEW do that, and equally I don't like it whenever NXT does that. I just kind of think that they should learn lessons from the Monday Night Wars, which is focus on yourselves, yeah? Focus on yourselves. If you do that, then you stand a better chance of winning. It's what WWE did, and they ended up winning. They focused on themselves. They built up Rock and Stone Cold. Vince got into the ring. They brought in the likes of Tyson, and do you know what I mean? And they just kept building. Granted, they still took jabs. Of course they would, because WCW were taking jabs all the time. WCW revealing the results, didn't they, of Raw? I mean, how low can you go? Actually revealing the results of the show on the other channel. Don't bother watching them because this happens tonight. This person wins. This happens. And obviously they thought that they were being big and clever. And then as a result, they actually gave a result away. The Mick Foley Mankind win when he wins the title. Wasn't it Tony with that very famous line? I know 99% of you are going to know this, but let's just tell the 1% that don't know, right? So I know a lot of people will be sitting there going, yeah, we know this. But there'll be a small percentage that don't. Think of the kids, guys. Think of the kids, yeah? So on back in the day, in the 90s, I forget the year, I want to say 98, 99, Mankind wins the championship on Raw. And I think it was Tony on WCW who said, Mankind's going to win the championship for WWF tonight. That'll put butts in seats. Kind of really playing it down. And like about 250,000 people just changed the channel to see it. Like their ratings just went like this as soon as they gave that away. Because people wanted to see that happen. It's a bit like when Keith Lee won the NXT championship. When Keith Lee won the NXT championship, that had got leaked. I think, wasn't it one of Indus Shia took a picture and put it online before it even aired? So that leaked, but their ratings were still great, even though everyone expected it and expected Keith Lee to win the title. Still great. You want to see that moment, don't you? Better tune in because I know something big's going to happen tonight. So, yeah, crazy. So, yeah, I hate it when the companies do that. I think just focus on yourselves. Learn from history. Ghost EP says Full Gear could be amazing. Already got Cody Darby. Have we got Cody Darby? Have we? Oh, that slipped. I don't know how that slipped my mind, or how I've missed it. But right now, that's news to me. For some reason, that's not ringing a bell yet. I do sit here every week watching the show, so I don't know. I mean, he just came back and beat Orange, didn't he? And so I don't know where the Darby thing's been announced. Last I saw was Darby was in a feud with Ricky Starks, so that's passed me by. But okay, sounds great. Cody versus Darby. Bucks versus FTR you would hope we're building towards that. We'll find that out tonight. They do have a tag match of Butcher Blade, Dark Order, Private Party, and Young Bucks. So we've got that tonight. Winner will go on to face FTR. And Kenny versus Hangman. Yeah, I mean, what I really like about that Ghost DP is there's, again, nothing there that strikes me as silly. I really struggle with the silly comedy that they do, which I think is very Being the Elite, and I'm fine with that, but just leave it on Being the Elite. You've got an audience that enjoys that, so do it. It's working for you, brilliant, but leave it there. Don't bring it into the show. And I think they bring it into the show too much. I mean, a prime example for me is that Stadium Stampede, which I know, there's a good chunk of people enjoyed that match. But for me, and if you've watched these watch-alongs before, you'll know what I'm about to say. That was the blow-off. That was the big finale. That was your two biggest groups finally smashing into each other. This was Judgment Day. This was it. This was so big that they had to hold it in a stadium. It completely empty stadium, but this match was so huge that it had to go. It had to be held there. And I just think that if there's one match that just didn't need the comedy, it was that match right there. If that match had gone ahead and had been booked much like an NWA War Games from back in the day, if it had been booked seriously as a blood feud, as a real war. I mean, when they first came out, like, they looked like they were two football teams. Certainly the Inner Circle did. But I kind of liked how the Elite emerged and, Hangman on a horse, and just like, I'm all right with that. But then, like, the silliness came in, and that's always been my problem with AEW. They've got some good things in place, and then the silliness can sneak in. So, but with this, you're right. I mean, Cody Darby, that's going to be solid. Bucks FTR, you would hope. I mean, look, you would hope for a killer match there. I mean, AEW, could they put a bit of silliness into that match? I would hope not. I would really hope not. That's. I mean, you're in dream match territory there. Bucks and FTR have been building for a long time. And Kenny versus Hangman, I mean, again, potential for silliness, but I would hope not, because what a story that's been as well. So, yeah, I agree. On paper, that does look like a very, very strong pay-per-view. Wrestling Days fan, shout out to you. Let's go down in the chat. Days, NXT is on BT Sports 2 tonight. Yes. I've got the correct channel. Sean says, as much as I have wanted Halloween Havoc to return, the spin the wheel, make the deal has taken it down a couple of notches for me. I'll be watching AEW mainly because of the investment in the current stories. And I think, I think that's a really good point. I think what NXT is lacking at the moment is, or are, those really good stories. I think AEW have actually built up a lot of... They've got a lot of things going on. They've got some short-term stories, long-term stories, and they can kind of pull the trigger on things when they want to. One of the long-term stories is Kenny as the cleaner. So we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it for a year. We haven't seen it at all in AEW. Even when he was having his single matches before, he wasn't really... I don't know if he was the cleaner. He was more just Kenny. And then he went into that tag team with Hangman. And, we haven't really seen the cleaner in AEW. So I kind of think that when they pulled the trigger on that, that's going to be a massive moment. It's been teased. Might get teased again tonight. And then, is it that we finally get the cleaner at Full Gear? Like, the hair dye back in again, the full wacky entrances, all of that kind of stuff, the shades and everything. So yeah, I kind of think that they've got some really good stories going at the moment. You look at NXT and you just kind of go, I don't know where their stories are. Do you know what I mean? I kind of feel like they probably had an opportunity to build some stories, but then like Keith Lee left and Dominik Dijakovic left and Mia Yim's gone and Thing is injured. Killer Cross, Carrion Cross. That's his name. I'm starting to forget his name now. So Carrion Cross getting injured. But then, yeah, you kind of look around and, I mean, there's not really a great deal going on as a result. So, yeah, we'll have to see what they can do. Obviously, we're building towards Halloween Havoc next week. Should be good. Looking forward to that. But yeah, I agree. The better stories are on AEW. No chance that FTR versus Bucks happen at Full Gear, says Crazy Ginger Jake Hold'em. Robin813 says, Days, what if Andrade joins Legado del Fantasma? Perfect. You want to kill a match? War Games, Undisputed Era versus Legado del Fantasma with Andrade. Lovely. Perfect. Beautiful. Love it. Sign me up. Like, that's just going to be a killer match. So, yeah, I really like that. I really like that. And you could do a really, really interesting build as well for that. Daniel McClung says, hello, Days. Thanks for all you do. Always love the streams. Shout out to you, Daniel. Thank you for the support, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Yes, WWE Freak Official with a very good point saying Ridge Holland too. So Ridge Holland is someone that obviously was about to start a story. Kind of wasn't involved in anything, and then we saw him at NXT TakeOver 31 beating up on Adam Cole. Now, that was really the start of something. That was really the start of what I think was going to be a very interesting story of potentially the Undisputed Era splitting. But that's only really speculation. We don't know that it's going that way. And now Ridge Holland's got injured. So now all of a sudden, few question marks around the future of that story and what they're going to do. And yeah, there's no denying that for me, even though Halloween Havoc is next week, I do feel like NXT is just lacking that momentum at the moment. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's hard to put your finger on it. Next week will be big. Next week they'll get viewers. But I think they might struggle tonight. On paper, tonight does not look like that exciting of a show. Just being honest. Even though they do have tag title on the line. It is Monica King's birthday. Oh, is it? Happy birthday, Monica. Many happy returns. Who Monica, I believe, is 7 today. Many congratulations to Monica King. I hope you got all the Bratz dolls that you were hoping for and your BTS album and all of that good stuff. So many happy returns. Happy 7th birthday to our very own Monica King. Joaquin says, Days, if John Cena comes back as a heel, who would you have him face? For me, I would have him face Edge. That's not a bad shout. I would have him face... I would put him in a tag match with Bray. And I would have them take on some sort of team, but that's a hard one to answer because I can't think of who Bray would be feuding with, to be honest. I've said before, I wouldn't touch the Orton feud until after Mania. I think for me, that's your story of the summer. I just think you can do so much with it. Let's get WrestleMania out the way. You don't need WrestleMania really. I think you can do Orton Edge. You can do Bray versus flipping whoever you want. I mean, Bray versus anyone. The great thing about The Fiend is that's a money match now. So you can put The Fiend against anyone and people are going to be interested, right? It's a bit like The Undertaker back in the day. You can put Undertaker against anyone, people are going to be interested. And they did. They put him against literally anyone. I mean, he was facing Jake Roberts, Giant Gonzalez, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Big Boss Man. I mean, he took on mid-carders, main eventers. It was all over the place. So you can put Fiend against anyone. And that's a money match. You can do Orton Edge, which you kind of need the blow-off for that. Unless you're going to say what happened at Backlash was the blow-off. But I kind of feel like they deserved one more dance. So certainly, rumours are that Edge could be winning the Rumble. And if that is the case, then, it's obviously looking likely that we'll build towards WrestleMania and those two. So yeah, in answer to your question, I would bring Cena back. I would bring him back as a heel. I would put him with Bray. I would put him in a tag match, and put them up against a really, really good tag team. I don't know who that. Maybe the New Day. Maybe the New Day. Maybe the New Day. The Fiend gets at Xavier. And Xavier turns on Kofi. Maybe I would do that. Maybe I'd explore that. And then that's a great way of bringing Cena back, bringing him back as a heel, putting him in against the most successful tag team WWE has had in recent years. I mean, 9-time tag team champions. Like now trying to, move ahead without Big E. That could be interesting. That could be interesting. I'd explore that. I'm a man that loves stories. I think that'd make a great story. Hey, bro, how's it going? Bound for Glory Impact on Premier Sports and Hell in a Cell on the network. Oh, I was going to read it for me.
€10 via super chat. Hey bro, how's it going? Bound for Glory Impact Wrestling on Premier Sports and Hell in a Cell on WWE Network. Good weekend for wrestling fans, and for me tonight should be good.
Shout out to Dazzle by Nature. Thank you for joining us, my friend. Yeah, I'm not someone that watches Impact, so I did see an advert for Bound for Glory. I can't remember what match I've seen. I want to say something to do with Gallows and Anderson, but I can't remember. I'm sure I saw something. Is it going to be Gallows or Anderson versus Eric Young? I don't know. I saw a graphic on Twitter, and that's the only thing that told me that it was Bound for Glory this weekend. So, yeah, okay. I don't know what day it is, but if you're watching it, I hope you have fun. Hell in a Cell on the network should be good. I mean, again, it's got some good stories. Love the Roman. The Roman story is my favourite thing in wrestling right now. And that pay-per-view should be awesome. It's only got 4 matches announced so far. But honestly, I don't think it needs a great deal more. I mean, they tend to do shorter pay-per-views now. I'd expect this to run maybe the same length as Money in the Bank, which is about 2.5 hours. If you're going to go 2.5 hours, that's TakeOver. NXT TakeOver goes for 2.5. So you only need 5 matches. They only tend to do 5 matches. You've already got 4. So you probably only need another couple, and that'll be it. I'm a big fan of pay-per-views being under 3 hours. I'm a massive fan of it. I think if you're going over 3 hours, it starts then to become not a chore, but an endurance test. I mean, 5-hour odd WrestleManias, and then like close to 7 hours when you include the 2-hour pre-show. That is insane to me. That is madness. That is actual madness. So, yeah, I much preferred what they did this year with WrestleMania being on 2 nights, 3 hours night 1, 3 hours night 2. It lets things breathe a little bit more, and it's more easy to digest. You can actually take everything on board, think about what you've just seen, come back the next day for even more. I think that's so much better than like the endurance test that is like long pay-per-views. So yeah, I really like the fact that they're doing them a little bit shorter. So yeah, hope you enjoy Bound for Glory. Hell in a Cell should be good, and AEW for you tonight should be good, man. Yep, I agree. I'm looking forward to AEW as well. I think the tournament's a very strong idea, and it's got some decent matches, so should be fun. Shout out to Cora Turner, Jim Gore. What if Wade Barrett was behind the attack on Adam Cole? And he's going to form a faction with Ridge, Holland, and Lorcan and Birch. I'd love that, dude. That's a great shout. It's not something that I thought of, but that's a really good shout. I like that because I do think that what NXT could do with is really looking at its factions, because you've got Legado del Fantasma, but I don't think that they've been booked that well. I think they're very good talents, but I would love to see them quite regular winning matches. I'd like to see them really get in some wins over some, even if it's just performance center recruits, just give them that momentum. And I also think that you kind of really need to establish what their look is. I think they've got a nice logo, and I think their entrance looks cool. But right now, I can't tell you what their ring attire looks like. Like, I don't feel that their branding is that great. Undisputed Era, brilliant. Black with the gold logo. I know what the logo looks like. The music's killer. Like, I mean, you think Undisputed Era, that's a faction cemented in place, maybe the greatest in NXT history. Legado del Fantasma doesn't feel as cemented in place. Like, we're still talking about potentially adding another member, and you know, I can't. If I say to you Legado del Fantasma, can you hear the entrance music? So I can't. I haven't got a clue what it. In my head, I can't hear it. So that says to me that it's not good enough. And in fact, I think entrance music in WWE in general is pretty poor now that we've moved away from CFO dollar signs. So I think that's something that WWE really need to invest in. They've spent a lot of money on Thunderdomes and video screens. Maybe reach your hand into your pocket to get some really good music composers, producers, and get some really great entrance themes going. So, yeah, I kind of feel that you've got Undisputed Era, Legado del Fantasma. Then you just tend to have a lot of, like, solo people being chucked together. Like tonight, we've got Swerve, Atlas, and Adonis. They're not really a faction. They're just, like, three guys that are hanging out that have got a problem. And you know, going up against Legado del Fantasma. But if you had something like, I don't know, the British Invasion or whatever, and you had Wade Barrett, Ridge Holland, Lorcan, and Birch, then that could be very interesting. That could add, and I really like the idea then that people, you know, start rooting for their favorite factions, and you get like a faction war going. They've kind of got that in AEW. I say kind of because you got Inner Circle, Elite's kind of crumbled. I mean, I don't even know who's in the Elite anymore. I think they've all just kind of gone their separate ways. You've got Dark Order, but honestly. And then I can't think of any others. So I kind of feel like, you know, yeah, that's a great shout. I like that idea. Days, who is your favourite AEW wrestler? Yeah. I mean, I always said Big Swole, and I do like Big Swole. I like her music. I like her look. I like her energy, her swag, the way she carries herself. She's very confident in herself. I think she brings something to the women's division. When the bell rings, she makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, she's green. She is green. That match last week was pretty bad. So I just kind of think that, you know, she's someone that's hard to get behind because she's got this like really good energy. She's someone that I want to watch. I want to watch and see what she does because she's got such confidence and energy and swag about her. She's kind of a poor man's Bianca Belair in a way. I mean, Belair's got that swag, got that energy, got a great entrance, got a great look, does her own ring gear and everything. But man, when the bell rings, it is night and day between their wrestling abilities. Like, you look at Bianca Belair and, man, she can go. I mean, we're seeing vignette after vignette after vignette on Belair, and she's just been drafted to SmackDown. She's going to be a big player these next 12 months. She will get title opportunities. Wouldn't surprise me. Maybe post-Mania, she enters into a feud with whoever the champ is, be it Bayley or Sasha. I mean, imagine Sasha versus Bianca feud. I mean, that would be incredible. That would be absolutely awesome. I could see them doing Bianca Bayley because of Bayley being a heel. But I think Belair's coming across a bit of a heel. I mean, she doesn't come across great in those vignettes. They haven't outright said she's a heel, but man, we've been joking about it, but I still stand by it. She seems like such an awful friend. So, yeah, I kind of think that either way, Sasha, Bianca, incredible matches. So, yeah, favourite AEW star is difficult because I always said Big Swole, but as the weeks go by, I'm finding it harder and harder to justify. I still stand by the fact I like her. You know, when you just like someone, she carries herself really well. She's the wife of Cedric Alexander, and I've got respect for him. I know she's worked hard as well. She's not just someone that's just, been plucked off the street. We saw her in WWE in the Mae Young Classic not long ago. So I kind of feel that she's put the miles in. She deserves the success. She deserves to be where she is, but she's just got to tighten up, man. She's got to tighten up those things. But I like Darby Allin. I like Hangman Page. I think Kenny, when he becomes the cleaner, will be very interesting. I think, though, I like Will Hobbs. I think it's really exciting to see a young guy breaking in and to kind of watch them grow. I mean, this guy's come in. He looks like $1 million. Definitely a future world champ. And, he's now getting lots of opportunities on Dynamite. So, yeah, I like the look of Will Hobbs. He's still got a long, long way to go. And maybe he could do with updating his ring gear and everything. But I think right now it's just kind of getting him settled. I kind of think that he's still in his Rocky Maivia stage. So I wouldn't be too quick to judge him yet. Come back in about 12 months and we'll see where he is. But, yeah, definitely one for the future as well. So, yeah, there's a few. There's a few that I like. Jungle Boy as well. He's cool. Days breaking news. Sonny Kiss has replaced Joey Janela. Wonder why. Shout out to Shane Murphy. I loved it when Lashley hulked out and took out Retribution, says William Hensey. I love that full Nelson. That full Nelson, I love the way he put it on. So T-bar with a back elbow, and he left himself exposed. Bang, half Nelson. Didn't learn, stupid T-bar. Went for another back elbow. Bang, full Nelson. So, yeah, really good. I really like how they got into that. AEW are having to remove Joey from the tournament because Joey came into contact with people that tested positive for COVID-19. Do you think AEW will tighten up their policy allowing outside bookings? I think they'll review it. I also read earlier that apparently WWE are being investigated because there's concern that their venues are COVID hotspots. So they're actually being looked into at the moment with Amway, Full Sail, and the Performance Center. I don't know what that's going to mean if they are found to be hotspots. I don't know what that means. I mean, honestly, if someone from the government is looking into... I know that Vince knows Donald Trump very well, so maybe a quick phone call, things can get sorted pretty quick. But, yeah, what happens if Amway is found to, be a hotspot? Can they move it to the Performance Center? I'm just thinking, Hell in a Cell this weekend, if they are being looked into. You'd have to think that's something that would move quite quick. So, yeah, could be quite interesting. I don't know. I don't know how serious this investigation is, but I just saw a news report on it earlier today. When is Becky Lynch coming back? I don't know. When she's had a baby. I wonder what the baby's going to be called. If it's a boy, I hope it's Dominic. That would be funny. If it's a girl, Aaliyah or Tuck. If it's a boy, Dominic. That would be good. Maybe, but Bailey is a badass. Wrestling Days fan says, I can't wait for Hell in a Cell. Wackian says, Days, in your opinion, what is the greatest women's match? Hard to narrow down, but it would be something that featured Manami Toyota. Manami Toyota over in Japan. She used to wrestle for All Japan Women's Wrestling, AJW. And she has... I wonder if I can quickly search it. How long we got 20 minutes. Give me a second. I'm going to try and find some info. because I can't remember it off the top of my head, and I don't want to give you a false number, but I think she's got some crazy amount of Dave Meltzer 5 stars. Let's do Meltzer wrestlers most 5 stars. I know this isn't like anything to take to heart, but it is still worth looking at. Jushin Liger, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels hasn't got the most 5-star matches. What the flip's this? What the flip is this about? 10 wrestlers with the most 5-star matches. Will Ospreay's got 11. Ric Flair's got 11. Manami Toyota has got 13 5-star matches. Let me just repeat what I said there. So this is a list of the most 5-star matches. It's compiled by the Sportster, Sportster.com. The article came out on June 18th, 2020. So about 4 months ago. So at number 10, Will Ospreay. Ospreay's had 11 5-star matches. Number 9, Ric Flair. Ric Flair has had 11 5-star matches. You've heard of Ric Flair. At number 8, Manami Toyota. Manami Toyota, the only woman to appear on this list. Manami Toyota was truly one of a kind, considered by many as the greatest women's wrestler in history, and it is hard to argue against that. WWE might be witnessing a women's revolution right now, but women like Toyota were already tearing the house down in Japan decades earlier. She put on several classic matches over a career that spanned 3 decades. Her 13 5-star matches are a testament to her greatness. How many is number 1 got? Number 1, Misawa, 25. Wow. So there we go, Manami Toyota. But she was taking on people like Aja Kong and Inoue and, loads and loads of great names over in Japan. So yeah, I would say if you've never seen Manami Toyota, then when you get a spare minute, jump onto YouTube and check her out. Absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of like Bull Nakano. I loved her when she was in. I loved her as a kid. I mean, even as I was growing up and I was watching WWE, Bull Nakano against Alundra Blaze. I was so into that feud because first of all, you didn't see women that often. So seeing women wrestle, it was like, well, okay, right, this is cool. And then Bull Nakano, if you remember, she had the like Marge Simpson hair, blue hair that was like sticking up like this. And, she was a bigger girl and she looked the part. She looked like an incredible wrestler and she was an incredible wrestler. Some of the stuff she did in the ring, very, very impressive. And her matches against Alundra Blaze, even as a kid, even as a young 21-year-old, I was mind blown. So, then like you look into it a bit more and you see like AJW and Manami Toyota and, as we said, Aja Kong. Aja Kong was in AEW, wasn't she? But do you remember me? I'm the ultimate Beastmaster stan. Of course I do, Lauren. Shout out to you. That's good. But did Manami Toyota score a banger to beat PSG last night, says Matthew. She did not. She is no Marcus Rashford. Can someone tell me if the TNT... Tell me the TNT channel number because I can't find it. At everyone. Mad Jason. I think the reason why he's mad is because he's struggling to find TNT. So I don't know what country you're in, Jason, but the chat will be on that for you now. You should see some numbers come firing through in a second. Jim Gore says Rockin' Robin was underrated as a WWF Women's Champion. She was, am I right in saying she's Jake the Snake's sister? And didn't she also, I mean, look, this is how far women's wrestling has progressed. didn't she sing the national anthem at like WrestleMania 2 or something? And because we did a watch along, and she was the women's champion at that time. I mean, could you imagine like WrestleMania next year? You've got Bayley coming out to sing the national anthem at the start, and she doesn't have a match. Like that's how women were treated back in the 80s. They were just an attraction. So that's why it's so amazing that over in Japan they had their own promotions, I should say. So yeah, you are right. Great wrestler. She wasn't around that long though, was she? Someone I need to look up a bit more. Days, I'm a fan. Your toy hunts, I miss those days, says Omega X Painkiller. They'll return. Monday, AJ Styles, BCC Nash 0 says, Days. Was I not alone in having the hots for Alundra Blaze as a teenager? Well, first of all, no, you wasn't alone. I don't know that I was quite there with you. I don't know. I don't think I was really, as a youngster, watching, thinking, "Wow, she's attractive. I want to marry her." I don't know. No, I don't think I was. I was more into. I don't want to say I was more into Bull Nakano, but I was more mesmerized by Bull Nakano's look, and I mean, what it was is I was really into their matches. Like, when it was time for the Alundra Blaze Bull Nakano match, SummerSlam comes to mind. SummerSlam 94 or 95? Can't remember off the top of my head. 94 or 95. Alundra Blaze Bull Nakano. I was so into that. So into that. And then I found out about All Japan Women's. And we've mentioned it before, the Big Egg Show. The Big Egg Show was... Oh, I'm going down roads that I didn't think we'd go down, but quickly. Big Egg Show is one of the biggest women's shows ever in the history of wrestling. Took place in Japan at the Tokyo Dome in the 90s, and they brought together all these different promotions, and it was only women. Most of it was like Japanese women's promotions, but they got the WWF involved, and they actually did Bull Nakano, Alundra Blaze at the Big Egg Show. And they also did like a tournament, and you had Aja Kong and anyone that was anyone in women's wrestling, all the big names. It's kind of like if they were to do it now, and you took the WWF women's division, AEW women's division, Impact's women's division, Stardom, Shimmer. Imagine one show that just pulls all of that talent, just showcases it all as a celebration of women's wrestling. Like, that was in many ways what the Big Egg Show was. It's much loved. I think you can find it on YouTube. It's definitely out there. I mean, you can buy the DVD on eBay, and you can get like the program and all of that. What I would love to find, like, one of my wrestling holy grails. If there was something in wrestling that I would love to own, a Big Egg poster that had some of like the signatures on by some of the wrestlers. Like, I don't even know if that exists. I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't even know if I've ever seen a poster of it, to be honest. I'd have to double check on eBay. I would love to get that though, because it's such a historic show. So, there's Thunder Rosa versus Camille at Ladies' Night. Hello, Ladies' Night. It's always Ladies' Night round here. Are you excited? I am and I aren't, because I'm not going to be able to see it, am I? I don't think it's on Fight. I don't think it's on Fight. The thing I saw was that it's in Tennessee, and but I don't remember seeing anything about I could watch it unless I went to it. And fun fact, there's a pandemic. So I can't. And to be honest, I don't know if I would want to fly all the way to America and go to Tennessee for the sake of one match. But that is a match that would be a dream match. I'm just sitting in hope that we do get it on NWA. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we're going to get that match anyway. So The Big Egg Show sounds like a Lady Gaga concert. Yeah, you're probably right. In 2020, it definitely would be. Kitty Kayla, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate the support. Davis Rogers says, I've been away for some time, but I got a Manchester United youth contract. Wow, who did you steal that from, Davis? Did you push them over in the street and run away with it, or did you get it legit? Because if you got it legit, that is like, I'm very impressed. That's very impressive. So shout out to you, my friend. Also, if you stole it, that's also very impressive, and I'd say equally as good. So yeah, well done to you. Either way. Days, Grizzly Smith was the father of Jake the Snake, Rockin' Robin, and Sam Houston. And apparently they will be featured on Dark Side of the Ring. What about Sam Houston? My Sam Houston knowledge isn't brilliant. Apart from the fact that I know there's a venue that was named after him. And then there was a different wrestler that was called Sam Houston. But I don't know how that connects to Jake the Snake and Rockin' Robin, but we'll leave that to now. Welcome to NXT, and welcome to NXT, the brand of the future, whilst we're talking about Grizzly Smith, Rockin' Robin, and Sam Houston. Yeah, boy! How would you book the Women's SmackDown division? Well, really well. There'd be great matches. Shout out to you, Ro Diley. To be honest, off the top of my head, I can't even think of it. I don't know who's there. I know I can only think of Bayley, Sasha, Bianca, and that's it. I can't remember who else has been drafted over there, so I can't really give you a great answer. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't end the Bayley-Sasha feud anytime soon. I don't think it ends at Hell in a Cell. You can't have this big of a build and do one match and that's it, even if that one match is Hell in a Cell. And I know they had a match on TV the other day, but that was nothing, was it? Didn't even go 5 minutes. And Bayley walked off, so Hell in a Cell, it's going to be awesome, but I don't think it should be the end. In regards to... Do you know what I miss? I miss old Survivor Series, right? I know that people are excited for champion versus champion and all that kind of stuff. I get that. But could you imagine if Bayley was like, Sasha, you was never really a friend. I saw how you looked at me. I could see every single day that you wanted my title and that you were waiting for the right opportunity to betray me. So don't blame me for betraying you just because I got there first. I've now gone and got some real friends, and I love the idea of doing Bayley with her real friends, taking on Sasha and some people that she's had to try and find. And if you was telling that story, I would make it so that Sasha struggled to find people. You got to remember, Sasha has treated a lot of people badly. So now that she needs partners, they should be quite reluctant to join her. So I like the idea that Bayley goes out, gets a load of heels, and she can go and get NXT heels, Raw heels. I don't care. I know people will say brand split, blah, 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 blah. But, you know what I mean? If she's going to go up to someone and just say, look, will you help me or whatever, or you're my friend, whatever, will you come and help me against Sasha, then they should be able to help. So I think that could be interesting, having a team of heels that are Bayley's, she calls them the real friends, taking on Sasha. And you could even have Sasha, who only finds one person to join her. Everyone else has said no. So on the night, there's 2 mystery spots. And it's like, who's going to help Sasha? And then you could bring back the likes of Lita and Trish. I mean, imagine that. Lita and Trish come back to be on Sasha's team. That'd be epic. So I've got to be honest, I'd much prefer that they did that rather than Raw versus SmackDown, which would be, I mean, I think you could do one big Raw versus SmackDown match, and then, you know, fill out the rest of the card with some interesting kind of feuds, to be honest, rather than just doing Raw SmackDown for the sake of it, or Raw SmackDown and NXT. But I know people did enjoy that, so I understand not everyone will be on board with that. Bailey's buddies, says Sean Reset. Yep, see, Wrestling says she could call them Bailey's buddies. Did you see that figure that's coming out? I know, see, Wrestling will have seen it, but the new Bailey one that comes with the beaten up Bailey buddy, that looks awesome. It looks like such a great accessory. It's obviously when she took the axe to the Bailey buddy and he's like flopped down. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, I've got the Bailey buddies from the NXT Bailey figure from back in the day. And yeah, now they're doing one where it's been defeated. So that looks cool. I really want to get that figure. I was saying this the other day. They've come out with so many great figures that it's actually hard to know what are like the top ones. I mean, if you're someone like C Wrestling, you don't have that problem. You buy them all, right? For me, I have to think about. Well, I don't have to, but I do think, can I find it in a shop? Is it worth doing a toy hunt? If I can't get it in the shop, then I suppose I can justify ordering it. The thing with Bailey is that I think that's in the main line. Same with Aew Star, that's in the main line as well. Both of them figures. I need them. So anyone thinking that toy hunts are done, jog on. Because I've got to scratch that figure itch, in the words of the figure bros. Days, my friend, I really want Ray and Dominic to become tag champs. I think that would be really cool. Also, I can't ever recall a father and son being tag champs. Would it be the first ever? Certainly the first ever in WWE. Yeah. I can't recall any father-son teams being tag champs in WWE. Outside of WWE, well, I'd have to look it up, to be honest. I mean, my knowledge of territory wrestling isn't that great because I never grew up with it being in the UK. I didn't have access to the likes of Mid-South and AWA and, you know, WCCW and Florida wrestling and all of this kind of stuff. I didn't have access to it. So it's only been like since the internet came along, which for me would have been probably about 20 odd years ago. But even then, you know, I mean, 20 years ago, you didn't have YouTube. You didn't have the network. I still wasn't finding that stuff. So realistically, it's probably only been the past 10 years where things have started to become available. So, yeah, I've still got a lot to look into and whatever. So I can't sit here and say it's never happened in the territories because, I mean, you're talking about a lot of wrestling there. But yeah, I mean, it would be one of the first, definitely. And I think the first in WWE. If anyone knows of any, fire it into the chat. Dusty Rhodes, Dusty and Dustin. They did compete together, didn't they, at Royal Rumble? Was it in Rumble 91? And then Dustin ended up leaving and going over to WCW. I can't remember him teaming with his dad in WCW, but he likely did. But I can't remember him being tag champs. And that in 91 in Royal Rumble, it wasn't for the tag titles. Was there an inspiration for the channel name and logo? Yeah, I can answer that. So I used to watch wrestling with someone and my girlfriend at the time, and she said that she would watch it. She wasn't really a fan, but it wasn't a chore for her to watch it. I should imagine it would be my relationship with The Bachelorette. Like, if I was to watch The Bachelorette, you know, it's not something I want to watch, but if I had to watch it, would I be able to sit through it? Yeah, I should imagine I could. But But yeah, it's not something I'd want to watch. That was her relationship with wrestling. So as a result of that, she didn't want to talk about it after. So I used to have to sit there and think about what I'd just seen. And she said, you do know that you keep going into a wrestling daze. Boom. Inspiration for the logo. I think WWE Kids Magazine actually came up with it. So WWE Kids Magazine did the logo in one of their issues, and that's where that came from. That didn't have anything to do with me. But I stole it. Right, we've got Kushida, we got the Dream coming down, and AEW is about to begin. Here we go then, my friends. An hour has flown by, as always. Kushida versus... Yeah, there's no sound. I thought that it was... There it is. I thought it was my TV. I was just trying to turn it up, but there was a little message at the bottom saying, we're sorry for the loss of sound. And I was like, flippity flip. But I thought it was me. So anyway, we've got Kushida versus Dream versus Ciampa. And over on AEW, we've got... This is War. Wardlow on his way out. He is facing Jungle Boy. Wardlow, Jungle Boy. So this is first round in the AEW, I think they're calling it the Title Eliminator. So first round in that. Stealing Days. Wow, borrowed it. I borrowed it. Boom. War Machine Wardlow. Yeah, so we got Wardlow on his way down. Ciampa's come out and he is destroying Kushida at the moment. This should be really good, actually. I mean, Wardlow against Jungle Boy. I'm looking forward to this. Right. Kushida flips over. Big strike by Tommaso. Tommaso kicking out at Velveteen Dream. Dream has got that cast on his arm. And is stomped down on the cast. But would that hurt? Would that hurt? I don't know if that would hurt. It's a cast. If you stomp on a cast, would it hurt? I don't know. I'm not watching a match, so AEW is going to get my attention, says C Wrestling. Yeah, I mean, they are stubborn, aren't they? They are stubborn. I don't know. I just don't know. Again, I'm sure Twitter, fire Velveteen Dream. The thing is, though, it's not working, is it? Like, they're not seemingly doing anything. I mean, they came out and said it had been... Oh, I don't want to go down these roads. Every single week we go down these roads because every single week they keep putting him on TV. 2 count for Ciampa. Jason says NXT is starting strong tonight. David Paul says Fritz, Mike and Kevin won the WCCW 6-man tag titles over the Freebirds. Does that count? Well, I'm definitely going to include it in the conversation. I mean, that's interesting. I've never seen that match. I've never seen Fritz teaming with his sons. But as I said, yeah, my WCCW knowledge isn't brilliant, but yeah, I'd like to see that. I'm not going to go down those roads either. I have to edit myself. Otherwise, I'd start talking about world-class wrestling, and that's not what we're watching. Jungle Boy over the top into the arms of Wardlow. Jungle Boy on the shoulders of Wardlow. Jungle Boy right on the edge, jumps over. Oh, nice little kick there by Jungle Boy. Into the corner goes Ciampa, back elbow by Kushida. Jungle Boy was looking for a head scissor takedown on the outside. Gets picked up and driven into a ring post. So Jungle Boy is down. Obviously, we're at Daly's place. And for NXT, of course, we're at the Capital Wrestling Center. Tommaso Ciampa versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 37. That would be fun. I don't think that's what they'll do. But I would love to see that match one day. Days looking good in grey. It's like seeing your favourite superstar get new ring gear, says Brent Lanning. Shout out to you, dude. It's just as it's getting colder. It's starting to get colder here. And obviously, we're streaming at night. I mean, it is 1:05 in the morning right now here in the UK. We always, whenever we do these streams, they're always at night. So, yeah, 1:05. So, yeah, it's a little bit chilly now that we're getting into winter. Against the ropes goes Kushida up over the top, trying to bring down Tommaso, and he does. Velveteen Dream is out of this match. He's on the outside. I just don't understand how you get to a point with Velveteen Dream that you can do meet and greets, make a wish. It's impossible. It's completely against what WWE do. Yeah, I don't disagree. The only thing that I'm going to come back to is what I keep saying, and I do sound like a bit of a broken record on it, and that is that, you know, if he needs investigating, because they have to believe that he's innocent. They have to. I mean, I can't. They have to. They have to believe that he's innocent. Now, I don't know where that belief is coming from. You would have to think that they've done what they think is a good enough investigation, but there's just been no evidence of it. I just don't believe that he's not even that good. I mean, like, he is a star for the future, but they've got loads of stars for the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not as if I can't understand it. I can't understand it. I think the handling of it has been one of the worst things. Maybe the worst thing of this year is how they've handled the whole Dream situation. Because it just looks like you're not listening to your fans. Prison apparel, says Quinn81. Yeah. I'm a young offender. Said no one ever. Right. Kushida flips against the ropes, looks for a double back elbow. Flipped over the top. Big strike to Ciampa. Kick to the midsection by Dream. Goes for a big boot. Kushida flips round, up on the shoulders. Death Valley Driver, Dream Valley Driver, I should say. Drop kick through the ropes, Dream to the outside. Over on AEW, we've got Jungle Boy in the corner. Moves out the way as Wardlow charges in. Back elbow by Jungle Boy as NXT goes to commercial break. Big boots by Jungle Boy. What I can't hear is the commentary. I need to turn that up a little bit. Dennis says wardrobe is part of the furniture in AEW. Shout out to you, Dennis Hutch. Tope Suasina. Days, is it 6 a.m. for you? No, it's 8 minutes past 1. Yeah, I do like the fact this match means something. I think that's good. It's not just a pointless opener, you know. They're trying to get through. Nice. DDT. One. Two, just a one. One for Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy doing very well against Wardlow. I would like Jungle Boy to get some more size. I don't understand why he doesn't. I kind of feel like Jungle Boy could get a physique like Pac. You know, like how Pac was absolutely shredded. Like, there's no reason why Jungle Boy can't put that effort in the gym. Do you know what I mean? He's a little bit on the small side. So but he's such a good wrestler. Nice. Charging over, knees into the back. Backstabber. Jungle Boy going up. Big splash, frog splash, double knees by Jungle Boy, come crashing down off the top. 1, 2. Kick out by Wardlow. So, yeah, very impressive. One for the future. I can't wait for him to become Jungle Man. Right now, he's just a Jungle Boy. But when he becomes Jungle Man, he puts a bit of size on. See, the thing with him as well is that we know that he's been into wrestling his whole life. We've seen him in the crowd at, like, SummerSlam. And he's put the work in. I mean, he's a really, really great wrestler. One for the future. One of the real talents that they've got. But I do just wish he'd put a bit of size on. Will John Cena come back? I hope so. What is the best present you ever received? Maybe that arcade thing from Mama Days. That was awesome. Are you excited for Habib? Yes, Matthew. I watched the... Oh, wow! Wardlow then spun Jungle Boy in the air like a helicopter. He went spinning round, crashing down, and he's won with that move. People in the chat are saying, was that an F10? Yeah, because it wasn't just an F5. That was like a... Yeah, it was like an F10. Look at this. F10. We speculated the other day, didn't we? We were talking just the other day. It was like when Brock comes back, he should have the F6. Because the F5 doesn't work. We were watching him against Undertaker in Hell in a Cell on Sunday. And we were saying, oh, he should do the F6 now. We've just seen an F10. There's the F10. Wardlow's beating him. That's a good finish. That's a good finishing move. I hope they protect that. So, bad news for Jungle Boy. Come on then, Days. Let's see your pack-like body. You can easily get that body, right? I've already got that body. I am ripped to shredded wheat, let me tell you. I am buffer than a floor buffer. Against the ropes goes Ciampa. Oh, look at that. Into an armbar. He's trying to get the armbar. Kushida. Kushida trying to get the armbar on Tommaso. A new hashtag, the grey days, says Dazzle by Nature. Do you know, it's weird, right? It's weird because I was getting ready for the stream. And I saw the grey cap and I was like, yeah, that'll do. So I put that on and then I was like, oh man, it's cold down here. So I just grabbed a jumper. And like, I had no idea that it was all grey. But it seems to be the talk of the town. The fact that I look like a youth offender. Which I'm totally fine with. Elbow drop by Velveteen Dream. So AEW is just showing us a clip from last week. We are nearly quarter of an hour into the shows already. I'm surprised they had Wardlow win, but it makes it an interesting second round. I'm assuming that Hangman beats Colt. The F10 is impressive, but can he hit it on a larger opponent? Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, that's how you make great wrestling matches. You have that kind of psychology. So what you do now is you keep having him use that move and winning with it. But now, you know, what happens when it's the pay-per-view and he comes up against Lance Archer? You know? Lance Archer can even use it as part of his promo of, you ain't hitting the F10 on me. So what are you going to do? How are you going to beat me? And you could have Wardlow saying, oh, I'm sorry, am I not? We'll see. I'll see you on Sunday. I mean, like, that's how you build, just plays into it. Something that, you know, wrestling doesn't do enough of, to be honest. They're very good at doing that in New Japan. Do you remember in New Japan, Kenny never hit the one-winged angel on Okada. And it was like, what's going to happen when he finally does? When he finally does, will Okada kick out or... And he finally does. And we find out. And if you've not seen them matches, have a word with yourself. Kicks by Kushida. Big kick by Ciampa. Through the ropes goes Ciampa to the outside. Kushida up over the top. Comes crashing down onto Velveteen Dream. Kushida back in. Again over the top. Over the top onto Ciampa. Kushida fired up. Again over the top to the other side. It's just like a replay package. Back into the ring, but Ciampa catches him with the draping DDT. Ciampa in control. AEW at commercial break. Double underhook. Super kick by Dream. Dream looking for another Dream Valley driver, but crucifix pin. Oh, only gets a 2 by Kushida. Big boot. Dream goes to the outside. Dream is bouncing all over this place. Dream is being kicked out of the ring everywhere. He's flopping everywhere. Ciampa going for another DDT, this time on the Dream. Big kicks Kushida. Rolled up. 1, 2. Kick out by Kushida. Big strike by Dream. He used the cast. Kushida. Kushida's picking him up. Boom, into the bridge. 2, 3, yes. Kushida wins. Yes, they're starting to move on Kushida now. Love it. So, Kushida wins. Tommaso getting leveled with that Velveteen Dream cast. Big win. Mega push for Kushida. New Japan, I still can't get it to work on my laptop, says Heather. Yeah, that's... I don't know what they've done with that to the app. Right, we've got Undisputed Era, Fish, Strong, O'Reilly, Adam Cole on a iPad. Adam Cole says he's getting better every single day. Adam Cole says Strong and Fish are going to regain. I'm just trying to read the chemistry here. Trying to see if there's any splits, any tension, any teases. They seem to be pretty united. So, tag team title match tonight. Strong and Fish against Breezango. Moxley promo, is it? Right, well, there we go. Nothing there that was teased. I kind of did wonder if there would be a little look or summer. Ember Moon up next. I like Ember Moon. Roddy and Bobby look suspicious. I can't say that I picked up on that, to be honest. I was watching to see because you did feel that there could be something, but... someone got the Push Kushida memo. Good. Khabib or Gaethje, who do you think will win? I think Gaethje will shock everyone. I've got to tell you, man, I watched that press conference earlier today, and Dana White said it's on track to be the biggest UFC show they've ever done. He was going through the numbers. It's had like something billion impressions on social media. Just this week alone, their YouTube videos have got 100 million views for this fight. He's like, all the metrics currently are saying this is the biggest show we've ever done. He says people need to wake up to the fact that Khabib isn't like a massive name in UFC. He's one of the biggest names in sports. He was like, you can talk about Kobe and, Messi and Ronaldo and, Serena and all these big names, but you've got to start including Khabib into that conversation because look at the numbers this guy's doing. So, yeah, this is huge. It's so huge. I'm a little bit intimidated by it, if I'm being honest. It's so big. It's like I need to make sure that I know that whole show inside out. The research that I need to do for that is a bit overwhelming. Like the amount of video, like it's all I'm doing tomorrow. Just watching tape, going back through Khabib fights and Gaethje fights and seeing what is being predicted. And so right now I can't call it. My gut feeling is with Khabib, because why would you ever go against him? His wrestling is better than Gaethje's. He's a better wrestler. But Gaethje is a better striker. And Gaethje is the best wrestler that Khabib has ever faced. So I know this isn't a UFC stream, but man, if you don't miss that fight on Saturday. It's one of the biggest in UFC history. Hey, we've got two ladies out that are sweeping away here. We've got a developing story, guys. Two women in bikinis. That we've got Kenny. Kenny is behind. Lovely. Can't wait. I hope they do figures of them. I'd love a battle pack of those two girls with those brooms. There's Kenny. He's behind some kind of sheet. And here he comes. Teasing the cleaner, but still don't feel it's there. Right now, this is just Kenny with a couple of friends. But, it's getting there. So, Kenny coming out. Taking on Sunny Kiss. Over on NXT, they're just running through the matches for next week's Halloween Havoc. Haunted House of Terror match. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? A Haunted House of Terror match. Dexter Lumis against Cameron Grimes. Haunted House of Terror? Did anyone see that then? Well, there we go. Haunted House of Terror. Did it need the of terror bit, do you think? Kenny's won, by the way. That's good. Wow, so they can do squash matches. Very good. One-winged Angel wins it for Kenny. Look at the smug satisfaction on his face. It's getting there. The cleaner lives. Kenny checking on Sunny. Trying to help Sunny. Holds up Sunny's hand. Just goes for a hug with Sunny. Seems a bit forced. Jessie Camilla. She's got a good ring attire. Wow, excellent. I thought that was really good. AEW doing well tonight. I thought the Wardlow Jungle Boy match was decent. Kenny Omega squashing Sonny, you have to say, is the right result. And honestly, it should have been a squash. So, excellent. Right, and now we've got Ember Moon. Wait, I don't know why, but tonight, this is actually quite good. Sometimes on a Wednesday, it's like... Everyone says it's the best night, but I disagree. But tonight's actually really good. Ember Moon versus Jessie. Come here. Come here. Come here, Jessie. We got Orange Cassidy backstage with Tony. Orange talking about taking on Cody next week. I kind of feel like Jessie should be a bit higher profile than she is. She's got a really good size to her. And she's a decent sized girl. She's got good ring attire. You could probably... She needs a gimmick. And she's been around for a while. I saw her compete in a house show back in late 2018. So I know that she's been around for a good few years. So you'd have to think that she's got something about her in the ring. But just watching her right now with Ember Moon... I don't know what she's going for here. She's trying to get some kind of a snapmare. Ember Moon lands on her feet. I like it. Ember's dyed her hair red. Ember Moon says you've gone messed up. Nice drop kick by Ember. Ooh, kick right to the midsection. Looked like it hit her on the knee. Against the ropes. Oh! Stomp by Ember, walks over Jessie. Standing moonsault to... crossface. Crossface. The thing with Jessie is she comes across as nervous. She doesn't seem to have much kind of flow to her action. Trying to get over to the ropes. Rolling back Ember. Kick out by Ember. Nothing on AEW at the moment. Kick out. Oh, kick to the side by Ember. Jessie comes across as scared, to be honest. She's kind of lying on a mat with her hands like this. Kind of kicking out. She comes across as like... overwhelmed, not confident. It's a lovely submission. Look at that. Excellent work by Ember. But the thing is, with Jessie, she's got, as I said, she's got a really good size. I can understand why they're keeping her around. Because you do look at her and go, man, this girl, she's got a really good look. Ember went into the corner, sent on, but Jessie moves out the way. Jessie rolls. Big strike in the corner. Against the ropes. Spinning heel kick by Jessie. I mean, elbow drop by Jessie. 1, 2. No. She sort of botched the pin as well, didn't she? She couldn't even really pin her right. She kind of had a knee on her chest and then tried to pull the leg up, but it wasn't very convincing. Surprisingly, this has been the best AEW in the last 3 weeks, says Stephen Goodwin. I like AEW tonight. Yeah, I think it's doing a really good job. Penta and Ray next, says Chris. James says, what's the point in the tournament? Should have just announced Omega versus Hangman for Full Gear. Ember pulling back. Love that. I like that submission. Ember Moon wins with submission. I think they tried to give Jessie a bit of a showcase here, and I don't think she knocked it out the park, to be honest. I think in the early stages, she came across as looking uncomfortable, lacking confidence. Wasn't really flowing. She wasn't really going from her moves very well. You can tell that she's not a ring general. Very much just kind of like, right, do we do this now? Okay, and then we do this, yeah? That's how it comes across. Like, right, let's do that. Okay, we've done that. Now what do we do? Right, now we go into this. Here's Dakota Kai. But she's only going to improve the more that you keep putting her out there. I mean, honestly, think about how much Dakota Kai has come on. Think about Dakota Kai, where she was a few years ago. Do you remember when she was, like, really intimidated by Shayna Baszler? And she was scared of Shayna Baszler. Backstage. Oh, hello. What's this? What's this? What's this? Bobby Fish has been attacked. What happened? I didn't see who it was. Someone's attacked Bobby Fish. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting Bobby Fish to get attacked. They are doing something very interesting with the Undisputed Era. They are doing something very interesting. Fish has been gutted, says Mike. Bobby Fish attack, says Wrestling Days fan. Yeah. Fish out of water, says Sonny Wolf. Look at all these jokes coming in. It's Adam Cole, says Shay. Why? But how does that connect with Adam Cole being attacked at TakeOver? How does it connect? Unless he wasn't really attacked. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. This is... No one attacked him. It's all a plan by Bo Dallas. Fish and Strong, says Evan Swan 21. I'm confused. Who's turning? I don't know right now. I don't know. Wrestling Days fan says they won't split. Toon Boy says, has he got another injury? Well, no, I think this is all storyline. Lauren says it was meant to be Janela instead of Kiss, but he came into contract with someone who had COVID. We say Ridge got hurt. Days, what if Finn has been calling these attacks and orchestrating them whilst he's been injured? That would be interesting. And it'd be interesting to find out who has been behind it. Oh, it's good. I like it. I'm on board. Wardlow has another finisher that he uses on Dark, where he leans on an opponent off the top rope and pulls them off it straight onto a knee strike to the head. Okay. There's a restaurant that's called Bobby Fish near me. You've got a restaurant called Bobby Fish. A restaurant that's called Bobby Fish. Okay. I bet you Balor was partnering with Holland and they're behind the attacks. Creed says Undisputed Era will never split. Well, we are a quarter of the way through the show. 34 minutes has amazingly gone so far. And it's been good, both shows. I think both shows have been entertaining. We got Penta versus Fenix. This is the match I was most looking forward to. Phoenix's 2020 record is 16 wins and 7 defeats. Walking along that middle rope. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. Undisputed Era will never split. Only Lorcan and Danny Burch. Good NXT episode, says Wrestling Days fan. BOD Talk says it's too bad that Ridge Holland got hurt. It looked like he was going to be a major player. Yep. Eddie Kingston's coming out. I'm guessing, is he going on to commentary? Eddie Kingston saying, I'm just going over here to commentary. Good luck. So here we go. Eddie Kingston going over to the AEW commentary table. Of course, he's next in line for Moxley. Days, do you remember when Big Cass turned on Enzo and he faked being attacked? I think they could be doing that here with the Undisputed Era, says Chalmers. It's a good shout. It's a very good shout. The only thing I would question, though, is why would you do it on a day where you've got tag title match? Do you know what I mean? Why would you do it now? Of all times, why would you do it now? Like, you've got an opportunity to win the tag belts. Why would you want to mess around today of all days? So we'll have to see where the story's going to lead, but more questions than answers at this stage. Austin Theory is taking on the big man. Bronson Reed. The Colossal. Bronson, yep. I love his entrance, man. I was just watching it there. I love the graphics. His entrance is so cool. Wade Barrett says, this should be our main event. I like that. That's a good line. Yeah, I'm into this. I mean, Theory's so impressive. Bronson Reed's a great big guy as well. Man, there's two great matches here. It really is two great matches. I still think that Fenix Penta, because it means something, and it's the first time that we're going to see them go against each other in AEW. I think that's got my attention more. But, yeah, don't sleep on this match. Okay, so it's going... Fish is out of the tag title match tonight. I wonder if something big's going down. Do you think they're planting a seed for... Why would you mess around today, though, of all days? I don't know. Today of all days, why would you mess around? Like, you've got a tag title match. If it's not a legit attack, why would you do it? Why would you run that risk today? Breezango versus O'Reilly and Strong. Penta goes against the ropes. Fenix puts his head down, but he's looking for a package pile driver. But Fenix goes swinging through the ropes. Duck underneath. These two know each other so well. They're just constantly a move ahead. And I like the fact they're showing that. I like the fact that we're seeing some of the moves, but they've scouted each other. Penta goes for a kick to the head of Fenix. Kick to the arm as well. Fenix asks for more, but he rolls up Penta. Austin Theory in control over on AEW. Sean says, here's a theory. Adam Cole either had Fish attacked or did it himself in order to keep O'Reilly down and in the tag team with Roddy in order to keep his status as the leader of Undisputed Era. It's a tough story to tell, that one, because what you're saying is that the tag titles don't really mean much. You're kind of saying, I want you to be tag champ because then that keeps you below where I am. And I'm not sure I like that message, to be honest. NXT has been so much better than AEW tonight. I'd have to disagree. I don't think there's really much in it. Hard to say which has been the better show, but I couldn't say that either has been so much better. Big chop there by Penta. Theory is a bump machine and even a little ridiculous at times, says Jason. Yeah, we did see that in his match against, was it Damian Priest a few weeks back? Oh, yeah, he flops down again. Bronson Reed up top, going for big splash. Comes crashing down onto Theory and wins. Bronson Reed wins with a big splash. I like that, though. I like the fact that a move like that won the match. I totally expected him to kick out. I mean, look at this. Look at the weight that's coming crashing down. He really shouldn't be kicking out. I like it. I like the fact that he didn't. People, I think, will be down on that, saying it's too short and all that. But I like it. Don't need a match to go on forever. And I think that's a perfectly fine way to win a match. He's a big guy, man. He's a big guy. And he connected with that splash. Theory says no. I am the future. Twisting plancha to the outside by Fenix. I'm 23 and I've done more in the business than you have in your 15-year career. I'm not going anywhere till I beat you. Oh. Well, that's a shame. I really like the fact that that match had ended. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm down with that. Something a little bit different. Wasn't expecting the finish there. Bronson Reed with a Samoan drop. 1, 2, 3. Bronson Reed wins again. Did that really add anything? All talk. Bronson Reed says all talk. Don't know. I don't know if that really added anything. He's going to get on the mic again. Give him the microphone again. We're still underway with Penta and Fenix. Penta's got Fenix up against the ropes. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Xia Li. Xia Li says that this is very important for me. That's interesting. I have to win. Right. Lot of pressure on Xia Li. This is the biggest match of my career. Okay. We got the message, mate. We understand. 6-man tag match coming up. Legado del Fantasma against Swerve, Atlas, and Adonis. Right, on the outside, we've got Penta chopping at Fenix. I don't like that. I don't like that spot. He just told the crowd to be quiet, Penta, so that he could do a chop and make it really loud. But would you do that to a friend? That's his tag partner. Like, you would have more respect, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you have? I don't know. I kind of think you can do that if you're facing someone you don't really respect. Like, guys, keep it down. Listen to this. Boom. But he's going up against his tag partner. And what must be Pac thinking watching this? I mean, when he left, there was Death Triangle, wasn't there? And now he's got two of his... 2/3 of Death Triangle are facing each other right now. Is she going to do some American Ninja Warrior moves? Who? Casey Catanzaro? Probs. When she enters the ring, she doesn't just get through the ropes like a normal person. She, like, climbs up the ring post, doesn't she? Like a koala bear. She's basically wrestling's equivalent to a koala. Daze, do you think we'll get Demon King versus Fiend in NXT? A win versus Demon King would be a big boost for the Fiend. Not in NXT. You may get that match, but honestly, it's a hard match to book, isn't it? Because do you really want the Demon to lose? Haven't seen the Demon in how many years? You want to bring him back to feed him to the Fiend? Don't know. Penta missed and he hit his hand, says Melvin. Penta charging over. Big boot by Fenix. Fenix going up top. Top rope Enziguri by Penta. Penta climbing onto the middle rope with Fenix. Strikes to the midsection. Kicks up top. That was a bit botchy. Little bit botchy. Tried for a head scissor takedown. I think he's knocked himself silly there. Fenix comes crashing down. Aubrey going over. Yeah, Ray Fenix may have rattled himself a little bit on the landing. I think he's done. Just put him away, Penta. Even that seemed a little bit... 1, 2... No, Fenix kicks out. I gotta tell you, after that move, the energy of this has fallen away now. I think Fenix has done himself some actual damage there. Fenix is moving slowly. I mean, Aubrey's checked, and she hasn't given the old X, but... Right, Penta's got Fenix up top. Fenix on his feet. Super kick by Fenix. Penta goes down. Fenix crawling over. 1, 2. Shoulder up. They're just showing us Theory chucking luggage into the car. And is this Theory leaving? Looks like Theory's done. It's interesting. So, don't know where Austin Theory's gone. Legado del Fantasma. Swerve. Atlas. Both of these guys up top. Theory has quit. Seems that way. Spanish Fly. 1, 2. You're not going to win with the Spanish Fly. We see Spanish Flies all the time. I don't understand. Is that the move of the month? A Spanish Fly? This show gives us reverse Ranas on the edge of the ring. Powerbomb there by Penta. Shoulder up by Fenix. Move of the month. I don't understand. It's a Spanish Fly. You see Spanish Flies on like Raw and SmackDown and... Penta pulling back on the arm. Right, we're underway with Legado del Fantasma taking on Swerve and Atlas and Adonis. The action is outside of the... Well, actually, it's all over the ring. Into the edge of the steps. We've got Penta in the ring with Fenix. We're 10 minutes away from the halftime scores. Nice snapmare there by Atlas. Kick to the back of... Is that Wild? Penta just said, I'm sorry. Picked up. Oh, you see, now look at that move. 1, 2, 3. A destroyer. I mean, that destroyer... See, now that could be move of the month. That's an incredible finish by Fenix. So Fenix has won. He's hit what I believe is a destroyer. The way he put it on, though, we're just seeing. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, that's really impressive. So he kind of knocked himself a little bit silly earlier, but he's managed to pull through. And as a result, he's managed to hit an incredible finish there. Very impressive. Great destroyer. That's a great end. And as the commentators have just said, Kenny Omega against Rey Fenix. That is going to be the semi-final. Wardlow is going to be taking on either Hangman Page or Colt Cabana. So, beautiful. Right, we've got over on NXT, Atlas going for a pin. We've got a little video package of best friends at the moment. Video package of Miro over on AEW. So we're done with that match. Over on NXT, we're still underway with the 6-man tag match. As we said, time is ticking away. We got 7 minutes still to go. AEW show has been bad, says Bork Flazer. Bronson has a t-shirt based on his entrance, says Miss Clown 1. Right, Dynamite has gone to commercial break. Over on NXT, we've got Legado del Fantasma on the outside. I think this is part of the problem with the booking of Legado del Fantasma is the fact that they always look weak. Like, they're never really picking up many wins. Well, certainly not that I can recall. The feuds that they have are against people like, as we said, Drake Maverick and people like that. I want to see them up against... It's hard to know who they can face because there's not really factions. They could take on the likes of Undisputed Era. But, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know who else they could... There's not really any factions for them to face, is there? So, I mean, this is why you've got to cobble together the likes of Swerve, Atlas, and Adonis. But they're not looking great at the moment as we go into commercial break. Nando says, I'm really enjoying AEW. Yeah, I think AEW's all right. I think it's all right this week. I think that the Penta Phoenix match didn't quite reach the levels I wanted it to. I think where he knocked himself a bit silly, kind of lost a bit of momentum for me. I think the chops on the outside didn't really make much sense in regards to they're meant to be a tag team that are meant to be good friends. So why would Penta be doing that spot with his friend? For me, there's a bit of psychology that's potentially missing in the match. So I don't think, considering that was the match I was most excited for, I don't think it quite lived up to where I wanted it to be. I think that I like Kenny getting his squash. I liked the first match. Jungle Boy Wardlow I thought was decent. And NXT-wise, I do agree that, Dream being involved isn't, something that we are fans of. I think some people are like, all right with it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Fire Velveteen Dream was trending on Twitter. So, you kind of have to take that into account. But I like Kushida winning. The Jesse against Ember thing is so-so. Wasn't a brilliant match. Bronson Reed, Austin Theory was all right. I mean, to be honest, Need the Show is really knocking it out of the park tonight. But I would say there's nothing offensive. So I would say that both shows are... doing okay. They're okay. There's nothing really much to separate them, if I'm being honest. Dave in Real Life says, loving both shows so far. The winner tonight is us fans. Yeah, I mean, I will admit that when it comes to a Wednesday, like, I've sat here quite a few weeks and said, I don't buy into the hype. I don't think that they are as good as, what we get on a Friday in particular. I think SmackDown has been brilliant. Few question marks now since we've had the draft. But, I kind of feel that this is a very enjoyable and easy watch. I'm just watching this because we've got Colt Cabana and we've got some of the Dark Order as well. People are really into John Silver's. And I don't know why, if I'm being honest. But I think it's got something to do with being the elite. Colt says he's on a mission. John Silver says pressure. What do you... Okay, I don't get the John Silver thing, if I'm being honest. Okay. We're back. Anyway, with this promo is a little bit strange. He's trying to get a Brody chant going. I think are people into his energy? Is that what it is? He certainly brings energy, but I don't... Yeah, I mean, people in the fight chat are laughing. Okay, Colt Cabana on his way out. John Silver, in particular, is very over on being the elite. Always on Twitter, he comes across as annoying, which is his gimmick. Right. Okay. Well, I don't watch Being the Elite. So I don't really know why his... I mean, he could be awesome, I don't know. But I can only judge him by what I see on Dynamite. So if his gimmick is that he's annoying, then I suppose that makes a bit of sense. Right, this is the final first round match. Colt Cabana versus Hangman Page. I wonder who's winning. I wonder who's winning this. Colt Cabana versus Hangman Page. Can I get a shout out, says Hagen. Yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to you, Hagen Blanchett. Right. We are getting to that halftime score. Days Theory just said that he quits. Yeah, well, he got in car and drove away, didn't he? So, right. Legado del Fantasma in control at the moment. So, Hangman Page coming out. I'm expecting Page, obviously, to win that. Legado del Fantasma. Nice. Knee to the back. Nice drop kick. I wish they wore... Right, this is going to sound a bit weird. But I wish they had Legado del Fantasma t-shirts. I can't remember what they were wearing when they first came out. But if I think of Undisputed Era, I can see several designs of Undisputed Era t-shirts, right? So, nice uppercut there by Jake Atlas. German suplex. But yeah, I can see Undisputed Era. But when I think of Legado del Fantasma, I can't think of a t-shirt. And I think they could have their logo on a black t-shirt. Doesn't need to be anything special. But if they all came down wearing that at the start and just really tried to get over their imagery, then maybe it would just make them feel a little bit more cemented. I don't know anyone that's like really into them. I wonder if people in Mexico are like really into them. Probably not. They probably watch CMLL and AAA, don't they? I don't even know if they watch NXT. Big kick by Isaiah Swerve. Isaiah Swerve coming over to the top. Big strike by Raul Mendoza. Big shots coming back and forth here on the edge of the ring. Big boot by Swerve. Raul Mendoza goes down. Mendoza grabs Swerve by the leg, pulls him out of the ring. Days, imagine when Brock faces Fiend and he takes him to Suplex City and does all the F5s, but to no effect. Realistically speaking, the Kimura could put the Fiend down since it can break an arm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because he lost to Goldberg, and I don't want to like draw attention to that because it was horrific. But I don't think there's any mystery unless they do some pretty hardcore explaining. The Fiend is beatable. I don't think like it's a hard sell to try and convince me that the Fiend is unbeatable because I've seen him beaten, which is why that's got to be one of the worst results in recent years, you know. Undisputed Era will never split, says Creed. Right, we've got Evil Unos on the entrance stage. We're still underway with Legado del Fantasma. We are past the halfway point now. So we will be getting your scores in very, very soon. Suicide dive by Santos Escobar. Atlas into a DDT. It's a cartwheel DDT off the announce table. Whacking Wild has got Mendoza. 2, 3. Legado del Fantasma win, which is the right result. I think it was a decent match from what I saw. A lot of action everywhere. Yeah, Wade Barrett says we're going to need a cleanup crew. Adonis is the one that's pinned. He just... Raul Mendoza just grabbed the Cruiserweight Championship, snatched it, but he snatched it that hard he threw it away. He was like, give me this, and he chucked it over there. Oh, God, hang on, let me get it. Nice. Right, we're at the Garganos, and they've got their own wheel at the dining table. They've got a training wheel. Okay, so he's spinning the wheel to see what... Buried alive. Yeah. Johnny says, well, that sucks. I'm going to be buried alive. That does suck. 1 in 12. There's also a casket match on there. Candice has got street fight. Yeah, street fight's good for Candice. Johnny's going again. Casket match. This is a good segment. I like this. It's quite fun. Johnny having a go at the training wheel. That's good. I like that. So Johnny spins it, gets buried alive, and then gets casket match. Right, we've got Drake Maverick, Killian Dane coming up. We're still on AEW. We've still got Hangman against Colt at the moment. I think we are going to commercial break. Right, get your scores in. Get your half-time scores in. Robin813 says, no wonder he hates wheels. If only The Undertaker was here. Hangman just lost a tooth, did he? I hate you, Wheel. Yeah. Furry and Fury. Okay, NXT is at commercial break. 725 says Wrestling Days fan. John says 7.5. AEW 1 says Bork Flazer. NXT 7. Are they trying to audition them for a TV show like Ms. and Mrs., says John. They've been doing these little vignettes for a while. I think they're trying to get them over as the power couple of NXT. So, NXT 7, AEW 6.25. Jay from C Wrestling, that was. J14 says AEW 6.5, NXT 6. Brony says NXT 7. Hagen says 8. I'm just looking at scores at the moment. Jason 5.25. Future Compilation says NXT 7.25, AEW 7. Chelsea fan, shout out to you, dude. I'm just read your comment and I'm very sorry to hear that. NXT 725. LSW 8. Mark says Days is always watching 90% of NXT and then saying that AEW is beep LMAO. Looks like someone doesn't watch the stream. Trini says 7 for NXT. Mo S says AEW 8, NXT 7. Chris says NXT 7, AEW 5. Zay says, Days, you should start Furry and Fury chants. AEW 7, NXT 7.5 says Javon. John says AEW 7, steak dinners out of 10. NXT 7 small spinning wheels out of 10. Trini NXT 7. Michael says AEW 7.5, NXT 7. I tell you, it's a mixed bag. I would say that's quite 50-50 as to who is ahead. Good chunk of people are saying that AEW is slightly ahead. A few people are saying that NXT is slightly ahead. RJ Madma, shout out to you. So NXT at commercial break was still underway with Hangman against Colt Cabana. This not the squash that we saw earlier between Kenny and Sonny. He was looking for the buckshot lariat, but over to the ropes came Colt. Colt grabs the leg of Hangman, throws him back. Days, what will happen at Survivor Series? I've no idea. I don't know. They haven't announced it. I'd imagine it's going to be Raw against SmackDown. As usual, with maybe NXT involved. Superman pinned by Colt, but only gets a 2 count. To the outside, Hangman over the top, goes for a clothesline. Ever-Rise are in the ring. Hangman gets the win over Colt. So, no surprises that Hangman progresses. Dark Order have come down. Right, that's that music again for Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick. Killian Dane versus Ever-Rise. The music, yeah, well, he's killed it. It's not stayed on for long. Ever-Rise are a decent team, you know. Knee to the side of the head. I don't know what they're called, though. I don't know their names. Ever-Rise 1 and Ever-Rise 2. Nice tag. Drake Maverick finding himself in the wrong part of town, and Ever-Rise doing some good tag team work. We've got Matt Hardy on AEW. I don't know what this is. Drake Maverick still getting destroyed here by Ever-Rise. Sammy says this isn't over. Okay. Little video package there for this never-ending feud. Elbow drop by Ever-Rise. AEW goes to commercial break. Killian Dane is desperate to get into the ring on NXT. Chase Parker and Matt Martell. Thank you, Robin. I like their ring attire. Killian Dane is in the ring. Starting to clear house. One of the Ever-Rise gets knocked down. The other one against the ropes. Crossbody by Killian Dane. Up on the shoulders. Oh, chop block. Nice. Good work. Killian Dane. Another chop block again. Down goes Dane. He's grabbed the leg, looking for a single leg Boston. Yeah, look at that. Single leg Boston Crab. That's good. He's a loser just like you. That's your only friend. Drake Maverick unloading on the outside. Hurls Everrise into the barricade. Drake Maverick trying to get into the ring. Maverick thrown into the timekeeper's area using a chair. He brings a chair into the ring. Well, that's a DQ. That's a DQ if ever I've seen a DQ. Drake Maverick with a chair, smashing it around everywhere, throwing the chair out of the ring. Who wants some? Come get some! Look at Killian Dane. Drake Maverick just let his darkness out. Drake Maverick just went full on fiend. And that now he's realising that he's cost them the match. He let him in. He let him in. Drake Maverick. Killian Dane's like, that was awesome. That was the best thing I've ever seen. Where's that guy been? And that music plays again. Oh, don't dance. Okay. Yeah, Killian Dane walks away. Right, we've got Brian Cage with the FTW Championship, Ricky Starks and Taz on the entrance stage. Now Roderick Strong's gone down. What the flip's going on? Right, well, there we go. Another Undisputed Era member has been bumped. They're going down like flies. It's John in the chat. John, you might have to step up, dude. You might have to step up. John, Creed, you two might have to become honorary members because all the members of Undisputed Era are going down. It's scenes, let me tell you. It is scenes. Although Brax the Beast says it isn't scenes. Brax the Beast says it's Cole. Mike thinks that it's Kyle O'Reilly. Do you think so? Do you think so? But what do you think? What do you think? Kyle O'Reilly had Adam Cole attacked, and now he's had. Oh, I don't know what to think. What I do know is, I think that there's going to be a big reveal coming. I think there's going to be some. We've got to find out soon. Oh, J14 says the Undisputed Era stands are probably crying. It's good though. It makes it really, really interesting. I mean, I was saying I don't know where we are with this Undisputed Era story because we know that Ridge Holland was meant to play a big part, but obviously he can't because he's out injured and seemingly for a long time. So hopefully they've looked at it again and they've got something in mind. There's lots of theories out there as to who it is. Is it Adam Cole? Is it Finn Balor? Is it Kyle O'Reilly? Who's behind this? Who is behind this? Brax the Beast says Cole is lying that is still injured and he is attacking the Undisputed Era. Is the main event cancelled? Well, we don't know. We'll find out when we go back. We got 40 minutes left. 40 minutes left. Remember the guy that said Undisputed Era will never break up? Well, I bet he's crying now. Future Compilation says they've attacked themselves. Yeah, I mean, what I don't get is if they've done that, why would they do that on today of all days? Why would you do that when you're going for the tag titles? That doesn't make any sense to me. Right, anyway, we've got the steak dinner right now with Jericho and MJF. Let's see what's going to happen. Jericho, MJF. Okay, what's this? What's happening? What's going on here? Use one of us as your tag partner. How does that work? Oh, flip, man. So it's not going to be Undisputed Era. It's going to be Breezango against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. How is that? How is that the right way forward? No one wants that. No one's asked for that. That's not the way forward. Stupid Regal. Xia Li taking on no entrance for Casey Catanzaro. Right, well, doesn't look like we're going to find out tonight what's happening with Undisputed Era. Let's see what's happening at the steak dinner. Jericho says, I don't know if we should even bother. MJF says, you and I both know this is a giant opportunity for both of us. The Demo God and the Ratings Ruler together. Rating Ruler sucks. Jericho says that's got as much chance of getting over as Orange Cassidy. We're underway with Casey Catanzaro, Xia Li. I mean, I don't know. Okay, hang on. Right, they're having a steak dinner. Jericho starts by saying, I don't think this is going to work. MJF says, no, we can work our differences out. Look, we're both on the same page. They then start singing. I'm not making this up. You might think he's making this up. I'm not making this up. They then start singing. They've now broken into a proper dance routine. There's women in gold dresses. They're now bunny hopping together whilst doing a little bit of... Hello? We've got a few Charleston moves coming in now. Very Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers. I wish I was saying Buddy Rogers, but I'm not, unfortunately. I don't even care what the lyrics are. I don't care what the song's about. I do not care. Is this going to be revealed that they have been on the same page all along? I mean, I'm trying to think, how do you save this? How do you justify this? How do you save this? The only thing I can think is that you... I mean, they've gone back down to sitting down. And we're just going to pretend that's not happened. I don't even care what's happening on NXT right now. I'm too busy watching the death of wrestling. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's gone to commercial break. Okay, look, there's got to be a reason for it. You don't sit down and go, okay, everyone's... Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's one of the most stunning segments I've seen on a wrestling show. I mean, it's unexpected, so I give them that. If they're going to say that they've been on the same page all along, you know, we got you, we fooled you. What, you thought I wasn't going to bring MJF into this group? Of course I am. I always was. He's the ratings ruler. Of course we're bringing him in. And hopefully now you can see how close we are following our little song and dance that we did for you. You could go that way. That's the only way I can think that you can save this. I mean, I hope it's going that way. Because honestly, how else are you going to explain that? That's one of the most shocking, most unexpected things I've seen this year in wrestling. At no point... Do you remember earlier when we were saying about, like, they've got the ability to just do silliness? Like the Stadium Stampede was the example I gave. I said, I know people really like it, but for me, that was two massive factions colliding. This was your one chance to have an all-out war. And there was too much comedy, wackiness, silliness. I'm using the word silliness. And there's another prime example. So they sit down, they have this steak dinner. I think you knew that it was going to have comedy moments, but who predicted it was going to have a full-blown song and dance routine? As I said, I think there is a way of explaining it, as what I just did. But it's not. I don't think it's a good look. I don't think that's the right way forward. So, yeah. Days, you missed two big segments on NXT. Dude, there is nothing that's going to be talking about more or spoken about more. I don't care what they've just done. I don't care if they've brought Andre the Giant back to life. That is going to be the talk of the town, man. That segment that you've just seen is going to be very, very polarizing. I think the diehard AEW fans will defend it. I think the WWE fans are going to rip into it. And I think the casual fans in between, which I would like to class myself as, are going to try and figure out why did they do it. And that's what I've just tried to do. Why have they done that? Why have they gone that way? I think they've done it to shock, to create a buzz, to get people talking. So I think they've done it for all of those reasons. But can they now get out of it? Can they now explain it? I think they can, if they make out that they were friends all along. And the plan always was, you know, fooled ya, kind of a thing. David Paul says, I'll defend that. Being the Elite 50+ demo joke. I still, I don't know what you mean. Are you saying that it's aimed at, I mean, but you're just making a joke out of your show? I don't understand. So you're saying that they've put a song and a dance in to cater to the 50-year-olds? I don't understand. Loomis was stalking Grimes. Okay. Jericho did say that MJF was meant to be in Sammy's position, and since Sammy is against MJF, that could have brought into it. I'm confused, says Sonny. Days, if Kyle needs a partner, I'm willing to step up, says OJ too. AEW was 10 out of 10. Now it's 0, says Train Dude 5. Bort Flazer says AEW is seeing its last days. We're underway with Britt Baker. I mean, honestly, how do you focus on anything else after that? We get a terrible Funhouse and Bobby Lashley segments. Take a seat. Who is this guy? I don't know who this girl is. Kylie King is her name. Britt Baker against Kylie King. Hang on, I really want to get to these. Twitter is loving it, says Nando. No. The AEW fans are loving it. AEW is bad. They're losing viewers. That doesn't mean that it's good, says Tommy. It looked like it came from TNA, says John. They did it to show people that they can do anything and win ratings, says Mike. Imagine someone watching wrestling for the first time and seeing that full dance number, says J14. Think of the hate if WWE did something like that, says James Chadwick. Nicholas says there's no defending it. Honestly, that was beep. Hope they bounce back from that because they had some actually fun moments leading up to that dinner. John Costello with some thumbs down. If WWE did it, people would be mad. I don't get why people are hating AEW right now. Yeah, the MJF Jericho thing might have sucked, but that doesn't mean that the whole show sucked. No, I actually think this show wasn't bad. I don't think there was really too much that was amazing on this show. I thought it was kind of running neck and neck with NXT, but for me, I think that segment puts NXT firmly ahead. We've got a Timothy Thatcher wrestling thing now, which looks interesting. You know his name. It's Anthony Green from Evolve. Is AEW always like this? I started watching a month ago and I still haven't been impressed, says Alex. AEW can do some really impressive stuff. They've got some really great wrestlers. But silliness keeps sneaking in at the wrong times. I mean, God, this is really interesting, man. Look at this. So this is a live Timothy Thatcher, Thatcher's Thatch Can. Let's see some aggression. So he's saying to Anthony Green, come in, try for a takedown. He flips him over. I used his own momentum against him. I wonder if he will be a trainer one day. Britt Baker wins. look, he says, notice I've got so much more space. Look, he's just talking to the camera whilst Anthony Green's tapping away. Anthony Green's looking at Timothy Thatcher here, getting kind of close. This would be a really fun way of... It's how you learn. So I like this because he felt disrespected that he didn't know his name. Goes for a takedown. This has turned into a bit of a brawl now. Guillotine. Guillotine applied by Anthony. Thatcher's trying to get out of this guillotine. And he can't. Look, he's in trouble. Oh, he has managed to break out of it. Thatcher stepping forward. Tough man, huh? I like this. This is a really good segment. Referee, can you join us in this ring? So we're going to get this match now. Ring the bell. Yeah, we are. We're getting the match now. So we're getting Thatcher against Green. That's a nice little way to build this. Teacher against student. And I really like how Anthony's got the Performance Center t-shirt on. So you know that he's only just signed. You know that he's green as grass. I mean, he's not really. He's a great indie wrestler that's been on Evolve many, many times. If you watch the Wrestling Escape Pod, he is the person that Tommy was talking about, that he's seen quite a few times in the Boston area. I think he's got a Twitch channel. And he speaks Carney as well. We got Steve-O with Darby Allin. This is pretty good. Yeah, I really like that from NXT. Steve-O, yes. Single leg. Boston Crab and Timothy Thatcher's won. They all come from Evolve, says Nov Freeze. Days, it's aimed at the 50+ segment of the demo. The song and dance thing? I mean, honestly, there's no defending it in that regard. Because there's no defending it. I mean, honestly, I mean, first of all, are we really saying that maybe they're having fun with it? So perhaps they're trying to win over the 50+ demo. So tongue-in-cheek, they're trying to win over that demo by giving them some old school song and dance thing, right? But the story didn't call for it. Like, if you could do a segment where you had Jericho backstage, okay? So Jericho's backstage with Inner Circle, and he says, guys, I'm the demo god, but I'm looking at the demos here, and we're not doing it on 50+. We've got to find a way of getting to the 50+ crowd. And then all of a sudden, someone starts singing, and he looks at them, and he goes, and you're wondering how he's going to react, and then he responds by singing back, and then someone else jumps in, and then before you know it, then it goes into a big production. That would make more sense, because they've told you why they're doing it. So they've explained the joke to the casual fans. And also, they're all on the same page. They're all in the same group. So it makes sense. This was meant to be a meeting in a restaurant between Jericho and MJF, trying to figure out, should MJF join the group or not? Like, this sort of felt like a serious story that we'd been following for a few weeks. Of, should he join? He'd given him the coats, and there'd been that, what I thought was a bad segment last week, but little did I know that they would take the biscuit this week. So, yeah, they, have done this build, and it's led up to this moment, this steak dinner, and we get this. I mean, this isn't how you get ratings. This isn't how, do you know what I mean? Like, this just doesn't fit the story. Unless, as I said, unless, and I do have to put this caveat in because they could go this way, unless they turn around and said, he was always joining, we've always been on the same page, we just wanted to make a song and dance about our friendship, our union. Of course he's joining in a circle. If they go that way and explain it that way, then okay. Otherwise, what is this Brechtian theatre? Like, I don't understand. Bertolt Brecht is a theatre practitioner who always put on plays, and in the middle of the play, his actors would stop and would start talking to the audience and would break the fourth wall. So is that what we're doing now? Now we're starting to bring in some Brechtian elements into wrestling. I don't know, man. There's a time and a place, and that was not the time or the place. Can it be explained? Yes. But madness. Madness. I'm very interested to see how people are going to react to it, though. I should imagine that, as we said, the die-hard AEW fans are going to lap it up because they'll find the humour in it. I think the WWE fans that hate on AEW are going to be laying into it. And I think that those in between are, as I said, going to try and figure out why they've done it. And as you said, they've done it potentially to try and reach that 50-plus audience. So maybe there's room on the show for it. Certainly in a joke, you know, we need... And as I said, even if they said we've got to get that 50-plus, how can we do it? What do 50-plus people like? And they can maybe run through, stair lifts? No, we can't do anything with stair lifts. And then, like, someone bursts into song. Do you know what I mean? There's a way of doing it. That was not the way of doing it. And surely I can't feel alone on that. Honestly, if I am alone on that, then I think the wrestling world's lost its mind. Shout out to DeAndre Love Jr., Generation Y says, you say the song won't get ratings. You say that the song won't get ratings. I haven't said that. But you haven't stopped talking about it. People will tune in next week to see what's next. It's smart. It's not smart. First of all, it's definitely not smart. I have to disagree with that. The reason it's not smart is because you're pandering and playing to your core audience. You haven't even explained why you're doing it. People are saying that they're doing it to try and reach that 50-plus audience, but that's only because you've got a knowledge of the demos. What about the casual fans that just tune in and don't know about this stuff? That if you want to grow, those are the people that you need to reach. Those are the people that you need to try and convince to watch your wrestling show. So what you've done is you've actually just put a segment on that appeals to your die-hard audience. The reason why I haven't stopped talking about it is because people keep mentioning it in the chat, because it's one of the most outlandish things we've seen from a major wrestling promotion in 2020. I mean, it's meant to be, as you've just said. They've done it to get people talking. And people on Twitter will be talking, because I'm sure that the people on Twitter that you follow and you interact with are going to be die-hard wrestling fans like yourselves, and they will be talking about it, and you will see split opinions on it. Does it pander to their core audience? Yes. Is that who they need to pander to? Not really. Their audience is going to stick with them anyway. They need to attract new viewers. And does that attract new viewers? I think it was mentioned in the chat earlier. Imagine if you're new to AEW and you just see that. Does that convince you to stick around when you tune in for a wrestling show? I don't know. Do people over 50, are they that addicted to song and dance? They're like, wow, on this show I get wrestling and I get song and dance. It's ticking all the boxes. I don't know. I don't think that was smart. I don't think they explained it well. I don't think that was the time or the place for it. I think it could have been on the show, and I explained how I would have put it on the show. I wouldn't have put it there, and I wouldn't have done it that way. So, I mean, honestly, do you want to be the wrestling company that people tune in to see what crazy, stupid stuff you're going to do next? Is that what they're going for? I wouldn't think that was a good look. It's so hard because they can explain it, so I don't want to go jumping in on it because like that on a dime, I know how they can explain it. I don't know if they're going to go that way, but I know how they could explain it. So I'm not going to sit here and start berating them for it, but it's certainly not something I would have done. And it's such a shame because I do sing their praises, but I do say that they do allow that silliness to sneak in, and they do. They do. No two ways about it. That's a gamble. And not one that I think is going to work. Right, where are we anyway? We've got 15 minutes left to go. We've got the tag team match. So Butcher and Blade versus Dark Order versus Private Party versus Young Bucks. Right. Casey Catanzaro won, by the way. Didn't see what happened at the end of that match. I saw Raquel Gonzalez come down, but I didn't see what happened at the end of the match. So I'll have to, if anyone in the chat can tell me. I'm guessing Zaya Lee looked very concerned. I can't remember his name. Did the guy come back down again? The one that gave her the letter? Did he come down? Did he just stand on the entrance ramp and just shake his head disappointingly? Birch and Lorcan against Breezango. Days, does the tag titles main eventing make it prestigious? I think if you've got a title match, it should main event. So I think this is the right main event. Can it be prestigious when you have to change challengers like this? I mean, honestly, William Regal went. So it's going to be you guys, yeah? Is that all right? I mean, I know you lost and you don't deserve this opportunity, but it's going to be you, yeah? I don't know. Does that help it feel prestigious? I'd say no. I'd say if this was a match that had been built up, and, you know, they should have been mentioning it throughout the show, really, and, like, building it up throughout the show. Now, granted, they've kind of built it up, but the bigger story isn't the match. The bigger story is what is going on with Undisputed Era. It's kind of hard to make this feel prestigious when it's playing second to that story. So I kind of wish that had played out, and that had all happened last week, and then, boom, now you're getting the tag title match the next week, so that this could kind of stand on its own. Right now, people are watching this, not excited for this tag title match, gutted that Undisputed Era aren't involved in it. So Undisputed Era have overshadowed this match. So, brilliant, it's the main event, but they've managed to botch it anyway. So, well done, WWE. Well done, NXT. The titles are secondary here to what's happening with Undisputed Era. But yeah, this is where it should be. This is where it should be. I'm pleased for Breezango, you know. Right, we're underway anyway. Tag match. Oh, man, we've only got 10 minutes to go. C Wrestling says 3 streamers in my sub box days included all lost fans since that segment. Casual fans have no idea what that segment was and have turned it off. Man. Dave says AEW was meant to focus on the sport of wrestling, not like WWE that does entertainment side. That's also why this doesn't make sense. Right, well, Is the bunny back, is she? So the bunny's back now. Was that explained? Honestly, was that explained? Maybe it was explained on commentary, so I don't know. They took out Undisputed Era, says Jonathan. Honestly, I mean, I don't know if this is the right move to have just given them this. They lost last week, but NXT ends 8 minutes later, says Brandon. 8 minutes remaining without commercials. They just had a Broadway musical, says Sanic. They did explain it. Okay. I have a weird theory that the person beating up Undisputed Era is the boogeyman getting people excited for Halloween Havoc. That is a weird theory, Ali. Splat says, I feel like AEW is good on the wrestling for the most part. I think they probably need to work on storylines and making their title matches more prestigious feeling. I mean, yeah, good shout. I feel the same, though, for most wrestling companies, if I'm being honest. I think New Japan do an excellent job with their title matches and making them feel prestigious. But I wouldn't criticize AEW for that and not NXT. I think they're both guilty of it. And a lot of companies are guilty of it. Yesterday on Twitter in a backstage segment, she popped up with Eddie Kingston's stable. Yeah, but has it been explained on this show? Because I understand that we live in a multi-format or multimedia world, they like to call it, with YouTube and everything. But honestly, I mean, when you watch a TV show, you don't, do you know what I mean? If I'm watching Walking Dead, I'm not jumping onto YouTube to check out extras. You know, and it's the same with this. I don't watch Being the Elite, and I don't watch AEW Dark, and I don't feel like I should have to. I just tune in every Wednesday, and I expect to see on their big main show them tell me what's happening. This is, I mean, if anything, this is like your one-stop shop. You should be able to watch this for 2 hours every week and be brought up to speed. Now, if storylines are going to develop on Dark, that's absolutely fine. Just tell me about it. Make sure that it's included in Dynamite. Now, they might have mentioned it and it might be covered, so the bunny thing might not be relevant to this, but I'm just sitting here not knowing that she's back to being the bunny. Last I saw, she was hanging out with Cutie Marshall and being BFFs with Brandy. It happened without a reason, says Robin. Maybe their storyline is a mock on Vince and Triple H. The video was shown during Butcher and Blade's entrance, says David Paul. Boom. There we go. Thank you. So that's fine. That's fine. I agree with them advancing storylines on AEW Dark. I think that it should be can't miss. But I think if you do miss, like I do, then anything key you need to be told about. So that's good. That's great. If they showed the video. Lovely. Right, we are chops on the outside from Breezango and Lorcan and Birch. Inside the ring, we got Young Bucks in there with Dark Order, Silver, and I don't know who the other one is, actually. It was Raw and SmackDown that attacked Undisputed Era to build Survivor Series, says Shay. Interesting fact, the first female in WWE was Rita Chatterton, not Jessica Carr. Who's Rita Chatterton? She sounds like one of the back-in dancers that we just saw on AEW. This is our new song. This is our back-in dancer. This is Rita Chatterton. Bum, 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 ba, da, dum, ba, ba. Double super kick by Young Bucks. Days AEW or NXT? NXT tonight. Boom. Pile driver senton combination. Butcher and the Blade jumping into the ring. We've got double submission hold on Fandango. Tyler Breeze comes in. Or was it on Breeze and Fandango came in? I couldn't see. It was on Breeze and Fandango came in. A combo move, super kick to kill switch. Almost 3 count for Private Party. NXT is going to have 8 extra minutes. Wonder why. So we're saying this isn't the main event then? Don't take away the praise that I gave them. I was full of praise at the start of these shows, and then it got quite scarce towards the end. So I hope NXT isn't going to take away the bit of praise I did just give them for making this the main event. Yeah, looking for a Meltzer driver, couldn't get it. Private Party trying to get the 3, but it's reversed. Gets it. Young Bucks win. Young Bucks win. FTR watching on commentary. Reynolds is pretty good. He got knocked out of the ring. He was out of it. There are so many times where LSW will be highlighted in a word like kill switch. It's annoying. Well, you'll be in trouble if Ellsworth ever hits a kill switch. Young Bucks win. I think we were all expecting that. So, Bucks, FTR at Full Gear. We're going to finally get that match. And it's probably the right match to build. It's the right time. I would think FTR will retain, is my guess. I can't see Bucks going over FTR. FTR in the ring. Oh. Who's this? Some guy in a mask? Some guy in a mask? Some guy in a mask? Some guy in a... He just came from underneath the ring? Who was that? Some guy... Some... Oh no, Breezango might lose the titles! 1, 2, 3. Lorcan and Birch have won the tag belts. Danny Birch and Oni Lorcan are now the NXT Tag Team Champs. All thanks to a mystery guy. How the hell did he see? It looked like the metal mask he was wearing covered his whole face. Like all the way down like this. I have no idea how you see through that. Oh, there he is. That looks like Lars. That's Lars. That really looks like Lars Sullivan. He's hugging these guys. He's got the chin and the facial hair to look like Lars. That mask is weird. Oh, it's not... Oh, no. Brilliant. Just when you think this night can't get any better, it wasn't, Lars. Well, I'm glad that reveal came tonight. That's all I'm going to say. If they'd have teased that out for a few weeks. Wow. Wednesdays are dead. Wednesdays just died for me. I can watch Song and Dance over on TNT, or I can watch the most annoying person in the world who I've got no interest in watching. Got no place inside a wrestling ring over on NXT. Wonderful. No wonder he took Undisputed Era out. Honestly, his facial hair with the mask, it made him look like Lars, and the way that the camera was looking up like that, it's like, is it? But then as soon as I saw the hair, it's like, oh, flippity flip. Flippity flip. God. SmackDown is the best. That was disappointing. Wow, there we go. Brilliant. Brony says, I hate Pat. He's so annoying. How is no one talking about Reynolds being knocked out and still doing the Young Bucks hotspot, says Daniel. I think it's because there's just so much that's kind of superseded it. That sucked, says Future Compilations. His back, says Chalmers. Tyler says good NXT. Ducky says, and I wonder why I don't watch NXT anymore. John says, I need Ridge to come back already so we can end Pat. John says 0 out of 10 because of Pat. Future Compilation says trash. Pat is going to bury Undisputed Era, says Austin 316. Nando says, show started so good and they ended so bad. BOD says, this might be the most disappointing wrestling night ever. Days, you said Pat will go back to football after TakeOver. He did. Well, not back to football, but he went back to his show, didn't he? So he went back and did his show. Now, brilliant. He's graced us with his presence again. John says 7 out of 10 NXT. Tyler says 8 NXT. AEW 3 out of 10. No joke. I thought it was Ridge Holland, says David Connolly. Why would they put Pat with Birch and Lorcan? They don't go together. Why are you hating on Pat? He's a good wrestler, says Troy. It makes sense to give Pat more heat by doing this, says BOD Talks. Colin says, my worst nightmare has happened. Chalmers says, I might now be out of words. Young Bucks win. They do. Wrestling Days fan says 9.5 because of Pat. Pat is not bad. Did you even watch the match? Chris, let me explain this one more time, because this people are trying to get me triggered and I'm not going to take the bait, right? Pat has no place in an NXT ring, right? He hasn't done any house shows. He, to my knowledge, hasn't been training at the Performance Center. He was a football player that left football to do his podcast and do a show. He was brought in as a celebrity to, I think they do try to bring in some NFL guys from time to time, because I think they're under the impression that gives it more of a sporty feel. It's like, wow, you like American football, don't you? Well, look, check, we've got them here. Look at this. I suppose if WWE was based in the UK, you'd get soccer stars coming onto it. You'd have the likes of Wayne Rooney, who we have seen when they've been over to the UK. You might remember Wayne Rooney punched Wade Barrett in the face, right? So they try to bring them in to kind of add a bit of whatever. Now, he is a fan of wrestling. I think he's been a fan of wrestling for a long time. But he chose to have a career with football. He's done a bit of training with Rip Rogers. So I know that he's got a wrestling ring at home, and I know that he's done a little bit of training. So it was no surprise to me that when he had his match, it was no surprise to me that it didn't flop. I was not expecting that match to flop and be horrific, right? I was never expecting that. That was never the point. The point was, you've got a guy who means nothing to me, who I think is really annoying. Really don't like him. I don't watch American football, but I'm only judging him by what I've seen on the kickoff shows. And he never tells me anything that I don't know. I don't learn anything from him. He's literally just there because some people watching like American football and check this out, we've got this guy. You like him, don't you? Here he is. They did the same thing with Gronk. Here's Pat. You like this Pat guy, don't you? And look, we've got Gronk as well. I'm sure if they could get Tom Brady, they would go and get Tom Brady, right? Or all the other footballers, yeah? So, like, they've used football stars all throughout their history. So anyway, he's someone that wanted to have a match. I think he's good friends with Adam Cole. Adam Cole can have a match with a broomstick, as we've said. So he skips house shows. He doesn't train in the performance center. He's not putting in any kind of work. He does a bit of training with Rip Rogers. He's got a ring in his house. He has a match at TakeOver because he's got a dream of having a match. Brilliant. Well done. Live your dream. So he has the match. I've got no interest in watching it, right? That match isn't been put in place for any reason other than they want to get the quick ratings. They want those football fans to tune in. So they have this match, right? On the segments that he competes in, NXT increases by 30,000, right? So that's the impact he has. He has a 30,000 increase. So where, they're about 200,000 behind AEW, bringing in Pat McCarthy increases by about 30,000. Now, I hate him. I think he's arrogant. I think he's annoying. He doesn't enhance my viewing experience in any way. So I can't stand the guy, and not in a heel way where it's like, oh, I really hate this guy. I just don't. He's got heat with me where I just turn the channel off. I've got no interest in next week's NXT. Whilst he's on the show, I have no interest in watching that show. I didn't watch TakeOver that he was on. If he's going to be on next week, if he's advertised for next week, there is no stream for NXT. I won't watch it. I've got no interest in watching him, right? Because I know why they're doing it. They're doing it for a quick ratings grab. They're doing it for that 30,000 increase. They have got so many great wrestlers. Well, I mean, why is Kushida only just getting the push now? Look at all the talent that they've got coming through with Austin Theory and, Bronson Reed, all this great talent. Yet they're pandering to this guy who didn't choose wrestling. He chose to be an American football star. And he's got his own show and he does all of that and he bumps your ratings by 30,000. Now, can he give you a decent match? Yeah, sure. If you want to put him in there with Adam Cole, he'll give you a decent match because Adam Cole can have a great match with anyone. Put Pat in there with Bronson Reed. Let's see what that match looks like. Put Pat in there with Cameron Grimes. Let's see what that match looks like. So I bet it's not as great because you know as well as I do that Pat was not leading that match with Adam Cole. Adam Cole was leading that match. You tell me bad Adam Cole matches. They're very few and far between. So I don't give him any credit for that match at TakeOver. That was Adam Cole doing Adam Cole things. I don't give any credit to NXT bringing him in because I think it's just a ratings grab. And I've got no interest in watching that story unfold. So you can say, oh, why hate on him? He had a good match. He had one good match. He had one good match against Adam Cole. There's so much talent that they've got. So much talent. Why did they don't need this guy? They don't need him. He didn't choose wrestling. Yeah, not like the kids they've got at the they've got guys in the performance center that have chosen wrestling as their profession. I mean, we were talking earlier about Jessie, who is still a bit green, still a bit nervous, but the only way she's going to improve is by getting time. That guy's taking time away. That guy is holding people back in the performance center. When they're giving segments to that guy who didn't choose wrestling, chose football, when they're giving time and segments to that guy, I mean, honestly, are people going to be talking about Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch winning the tag titles, or are they going to be talking about Pat McCarthy coming back? Because I'd rather be sitting here talking about, wow, can you believe it? Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan, tag champs. Now, would you be talking about that, or would you be? Are people going to be talking about Pat? Again, he's just going to be stealing the limelight. He's just a Hoover, man. He just sucks up all the good vibes. Just leaves me feeling really flat about NXT tonight. That does. Really flat. Such a shame. I think AEW shot themselves in the foot with that stupid song and dance thing. I think NXT have shot themselves in the foot with the Pat McCarthy thing. And I think that there was very little on either show that blew my mind to the point where I would even give them a decent score. I don't think there was really much in the way to kind of lift those scores up from those two moments. So that's how I end the night. I end the night with kind of like, why am I even bothering on a Wednesday? Why am I even bothering? I have so much fun on a SmackDown in particular. Raw can give us some decent moments. I'm not saying WWE are perfect. It's absolutely far from it. They do stuff that makes you cringe, but I can't remember. I mean, like... Matt says, I think the real ending was going to be Ridge Holland, but he got injured. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Matt. And that would have been much better. That would have been much, much better. Ridge being in that spot would have been excellent. Highlighting a new young talent. Building up some new stars. That would have been much better. I would have been much more into that. Why didn't you say that about Ronda? Oh, thank you, Chris. Thanks for asking that. Ronda, broken. I don't know what kind of pay-per-view records. I mean, smash records done so much for women in sport. And not in a Serena way, which is like, check me out, I'm a fantastic tennis player. But in a way that she went to the Olympics and did judo. That's fighting. The way that she went to Strikeforce and became a champion. Mixed martial arts. The way that she went to UFC and was main eventing cards and tearing it up in UFC. Again, all fighting. I mean, inside a cage, using wrestling, using her judo, and not only that, but doing it legitimately fighting. So what happens when you take the baddest woman in the world at the time, not now that you've got Amanda Nunes, who I would say is the GOAT, the lady GOAT. So what happens if you take Ronda Rousey, who chose a life of fighting, one-on-one combat. I don't care if it's wrestling, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's grappling and fighting, and it's one-on-one. And she chose that as her life. She did judo. She trained with Jean LaBelle. She's went to Strikeforce. She's main evented UFC pay-per-view cards. So how interesting that she then comes to the world of WWE. And do you know what she does? She gives it an air of legitimacy. One of the biggest female stars in the world, known for fighting, known for one-on-one combat, comes into WWE, and what do we get now? Who's going to stop this monster? What happens when you get Ronda Rousey against Asuka? What happens when you get Ronda Rousey against Charlotte? I think we knew what would happen if you get Ronda against Alexa, but what would happen if you get Ronda against this Alexa? Like, I understand the argument of, well, hang on, is she not getting in the way of new talent? There is an argument for that, but she has made her way a different way. She didn't come into WWE going through the house shows, going through NXT. She went and learnt judo and went to the Olympics and went to MMA and main evented UFC, made a massive name for herself, and then came into pro wrestling. And she was really good friends with Roddy Piper. They played on that when she came in. The jacket that she wears is Roddy's jacket that was given to her by Roddy Piper's family. She came out to, the graphics are all the same as Rowdy Roddy Piper. She used the Rowdy Ronda Rousey name and went to Piper and said, can I use that Rowdy name? And he gave her the blessing. Now, I don't dispute that Pat McAfee has got connections with wrestlers and all of that, but he hasn't come through. If he was coming in from MMA, UFC, I would probably feel a bit different. If he was coming in from Strikeforce, I would feel different because I would feel like he's legit. I would feel like he's got a fighting background and he's got transferable skills. He's coming in from being a football player. It's like coming in from being a soccer player. I mean, look at Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland was a rugby player. He's come into NXT, but he's gone to NXT UK. They've done loads of work with him in the Performance Center. They've really built up his character. They've trained him in the ring, and they're really trying to build him and establish him. The difference is that Pat McAfee is already pretty well known in the States, and as a result of that, he's just bypassed it all. He just jumped to the front of the queue. Now, what I will say is, at least they haven't put him onto Raw and SmackDown. I don't know, this is going to sound crazy. Maybe it's more offensive that it's NXT. Because NXT is the developmental kind of brand. It was. I mean, they do argue it's the third brand. But the fact that he's gone to... I expect it on Raw and SmackDown. Because they've done it time and again, and it always winds me up. But with NXT, it's kind of like... It's the brand where you get real fighters, Real wrestlers. Timothy Thatcher. Adam Cole. I find it very, very annoying. Very, very annoying. I don't think he's got any place being put into such a prominent position. And seemingly with, no work in the Performance Center. I mean, unless he's been doing things that I don't know about behind the scenes. I know he's been training with Rip Rogers. I know he's had some training, but I just really hate this guy. Really, he's got no place being in NXT. Days, Pat can cut a better promo than half the guys in WWE. You're right. When it gets scripted, practiced, and given to him. Let's see him do it week in, week out, when he doesn't have as much time to go through it all. Joaquin says, what about Tyson Fury? What, you mean the world heavyweight boxer? Oh, come on. His match sucked. You have to say it. You don't like the guy. Joaquin, you've just proved my point, dude. You've just absolutely proven my point. I don't like the guy. I mean, that's true. But I've told you why I don't like the guy. I'm sitting here in the UK with no exposure to NFL. I don't watch it. So I don't know who this guy is. So it's not as if I've watched him my whole life and he's beaten my favourite NFL team. I don't care about NFL. I don't watch it. So I don't care about what he's done in American football. All I'm judging him on is what I've seen of him on the kickoff shows and what I've seen of him on, the bits they've used him for. To me, he is the same level as Byron Saxton. I find him very annoying. So can you imagine if Byron Saxton just rocked up? Imagine if Byron Saxton had a match with Adam Cole. And I'll tell you now, be a decent match. Do you know why it'd be a decent match? Byron Saxton used to be a wrestler. Adam Cole can have a match with anyone. And if they did a Byron Saxton-Adam Cole match, it would actually be very good. Because Adam Cole would have a good match. You tell me a bad Adam Cole match. I stand by he has a good match with anyone. And Byron Saxton knows how to work in the ring. And if they put as much effort into Byron Saxton as they put into Pat McAfee, they would still come out with a great match. I'm quite happy to go on record and say that. Byron Saxton against Adam Cole would be a good match. Right? But yeah, I'm judging him by what I've seen. I don't like Byron Saxton. I find his commentary very annoying. And I find Pat McAfee very annoying, right? So he's not coming in as someone that I've got respect for anyway. But he's also not coming in with a fighting background. You're talking about Tyson Fury. You're talking about the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Do I find it interesting having the heavyweight boxing champion of the world being put in a wrestling match against Braun Strowman? I do find that interesting, yes. I do. Because it's a shared world. It's fighting, it's combat. It's transferable skills. And I don't care if you come from boxing. I don't care if you come from MMA. I don't care if you come from judo. I don't care if you come from the NCAA wrestling, Division 2, Division 1. I don't care what fighting world you come from. I find it interesting. And I think that, you know, wrestling works best when you've got different styles. If you've got someone that's primarily... And you're right as well, the match sucked. Do you know why the match sucked? Because they tried to get him to wrestle. And he's not a wrestler, is he? He's the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing. So why wasn't he boxing? Why was he trying to do clotheslines, drop kicks, kip-ups, and all that kind of stuff? Why? That's not what he's known for. That's not what he's known for. Do you know what I mean? It's like taking Elvis Presley and putting him into the wrestling ring. Like, he's known as a singer. So if you're going to book Elvis, have him sing. Right? Don't have him have a wrestling match. If you're going to book Tyson Fury, have him box. Or if it's not a boxing match, then have him do a lot of striking in his match. Don't have him trying to show that he can wrestle, because he can't wrestle. So you're right. It was a rubbish match. I even said it at the time. Right? And I've said it subsequently since. But he comes from a fighting world. And wrestling for me is at its best when you have these different styles. You know, you've got lucha libre, you've got strong style, you've got catchers catch can, you've got people that are strikers. Undertaker, known for being one of the purest strikers in the history of WWE. I mean, you've got all these different blends, and that going together is, you know, what brings a lot of intrigue. So I really feel that Tyson Fury brought something interesting. They just didn't capitalize on it. They just didn't utilize it. What's Pat McCarthy bringing? What's he bringing? Ghost EP says, Days, on Wednesdays, why don't you just do New Japan and MLW? Oh, do you know what? You might be right, buddy. That sounds honestly more appealing. Is New Japan on a Wednesday, is it? To get your love for wrestling back on track, because this ain't good for your health and I'm worried about you. There's going to be people out there that enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, that's great. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. What I'm going to do is sit here and explain to you why I hate it and why it makes me not want to watch NXT whilst this is on. Just as I explained why I didn't like the AEW thing. So, you know, anyone saying that, oh, you always just hate on AEW. No, trust me. Watch. Because I think right now there's a real good chance that I'm just going to skip Halloween Havoc. UFC 254 on Saturday, says Kay Lean. Robert Stone versus Chelsea Green. What's this? I don't know what that means. RJ Madman says, Days, I'm sorry that you're upset about this. Upset's a harsh word. I wouldn't say upset. I'd say disappointed. Disappointed. You know, when that hurts more, when your parents say that to you, you're like, look, we're not angry. We're just disappointed. You go, oh. That's how I feel. It's like AEW. You were doing really well, and then you did that song and dance. And, you know, I'm just disappointed now. Disappointed in you. Unless you explain it, but honestly, even if you explain it, it's a tough one. And NXT, you was doing very well. You know, you gave the title to Lorcan and Birch. You had a mystery guy. I was very excited. I thought, Kevin Owens? That was my first reaction, actually. My first thought was Kevin Owens. I don't know. Don't ask me why. I think it was because of the size. Like, there's no denying Pat McCarthy's got a size to him, right? So I looked and I was like, is that Kevin Owens? And then as soon as I saw the chin, I was like, that facial hair, the shape of the chin, it looks like Lars. But why would it be Lars? I was like, But I stuck with Lars. I felt like it was more Lars than Kevin Owens. My brain never said Pat. Days, if Pat puts on good matches each week, will you like him? If he was to put on good matches each week, would I like him? I won't be watching to find out. is the true answer. Whilst he's on, I've got no interest in watching the show. I don't like him as a person. Like, not only have you got the NFL thing, which is, everything I've said is true, right? Because you can take Pat McAfee's name out and put any other NFL star's name in. You can take any NFL name out and put a soccer player names in. If that was Cristiano Ronaldo, right? If that was like Wayne Rooney or whoever, yeah, I would still feel the exact same way. They are not transferable skills. You have made your name in a different world, and now you're coming in. If a musician, could you imagine if it was a musician? Do you know what I mean? Red Hot, imagine flipping, I don't know, who's big at the moment in the music world? Drake. Imagine if that was Drake. Like, Drake's come in now and starting to get involved with NXT because he's interested in wrestling. He's done a bit of training and he's got a wrestling ring at home, right? So now they're bringing Drake in. It's like, Drake is not the best comparison, right? Because, okay, that boxes off the fact that he doesn't have transferable skills. But I don't actually know if he's a likable person or not. I don't know much about him. I know his music. And I actually like some of his songs. But I don't know about him as a person. But I've seen Pat McAfee on those kickoff shows. And he comes across as arrogant. He comes across as deeply unlikable. You know, he's walking around WrestleMania in shorts. And they had a go at him, didn't they? It's a famous story. He threatened to walk out of WWE. They had a go at him because he was wearing shorts. And they were saying it's not professional. And I think he showed them a picture of, like, LeBron James or Michael Jordan wearing shorts at some function. And they smoothed it out. But, like, there was a bit of friction there on, like, WrestleMania. And he was like, look, I don't need this, so I'll just go, yeah. He should have gone. Should have walked. He brings nothing. I mean, honestly, if you think he brings good wrestling, then that's fine. What do you think the Performance Centre's full of? What do you think they've just signed from Evolve? I mean, they have got him here for ratings. That's all he's there for. That's all he's there for. They've brought him in for ratings. That's it. I ain't giving him them ratings. I'm not going to give him them ratings. That's why he's there. Matthew says, it's a sad time for WWE. They're only in for cash grabs and view grabs. They will always bring in these daft football players. Next it'll be baseball players. Just shoot me now, says Matthew. I mean, it's weird when you're young, because I remember Lawrence Taylor main event in WrestleMania, and I wasn't, like, dead against it, because you don't really think about the talent that's coming through. You don't really think about, oh, that's someone else's spot. Like, why such and such should be in that position. You don't really think that as a kid. So when Lawrence Taylor was on, I remember not really being into it, because I didn't know who Lawrence Taylor was. I remember just kind of it being quite passive. I remember the match was, I think they had Salt and Pepper. I just remember Salt and Pepper more. I'm sure Salt and Pepper were doing the entrance music. And I really liked their songs at the time. I heard them quite a bit on the radio. So I remember Salt and Pepper most about that. I always liked Bam Bam, because I liked his tattooed head. And his entrance, the bam, bam, he looked like a bad man. So I was kind of excited that, you know, he was in a decent match and I was going to see him. But I didn't know anything about Lawrence Taylor. But if that was to happen now, I'd be so against it. I'd hate it. Really would hate it. Yeah, I can see people asking about scores. I just don't know, honestly. I feel like both of these shows were around just about 7 or something. I don't think there was anything that special. I really don't think there was anything in these shows that was that special. You had the title change at the end, but wow, did they whip that away. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give AEW, what can I score them positively on? There wasn't much that I really enjoyed, to be honest. There wasn't much I really enjoyed. What did I enjoy? Let's have a look. Penta Fenix match I thought was a bit clunky at times. It was the match I was most looking forward to, and it didn't quite live up to my expectation. Omega Joe, what didn't even happen, did it? It was sunny. That was quick. Page against Colt Cabana was fine. Wardlow Jungle Boy was good. Main event was all right. And then you've got the song and dance thing. So I'm honestly going to say that this... I'm giving it a 5. I'm giving it a 5. I just can't go above that. The song and dance thing. It's one of the craziest, stupidest things I've seen. But don't think NXT's getting off the hook. They brought back one of my least favourite personalities that they use. It's, as I said, just imagine someone that you just really don't like. I just don't like him. I've got no interest in watching him. Doesn't bring anything. He's not going to bring any match that's going to blow my mind more than the talent that they've already got. He's not going to cut a promo that's going to blow my mind more than promos I already hear. Granted, they'll script the hell out of the promo for him, and they'll double check it, and they'll have Sean on it, and they'll make sure that it lands. And make no mistake about it, here's a prediction for you. They are going to go and do whatever they can to make him look like $1 million, right? So, will he have a good match next match? Yes. He's going to have good matches. He's going to do good promos. But he's not going to do anything above what you would see from the talent they've got. And he's a ratings grab. He's a ratings grab. Does he offend? It comes down to what offended me more. Did the song and dance offend me more? That can be explained. They can explain that. They can explain it by saying that we've always been on the same page. We just wanted to make a song and dance about our friendship. So they can explain it. But it's still bitter taste in the mouth right now. With NXT, there's no explaining it. I just don't want him there. I've got no interest in watching him, so it has to score lower. It has to score lower. Which is a shame, because I really like the fact that Lorcan and Birch won the tag titles. I really like the fact that they won the tag titles. I thought it was time to kind of take it off Breezango, if I'm being honest. I thought it was time. So I do like the fact that they pulled that trigger. But there's no justifying it. I can sit here and I can justify the song and dance. I can't sit here and justify bringing Pat back, other than for ratings, and that's really sucky justification, isn't it? Yeah. I wonder what New Japan are doing. Let's stop the time. Oh, we are running out of time as well. Let me try and get to some people in the chat. Robin says, what if they use him as a heel manager? Well, that would be a better use. I'll give you that. That would be a better use. I think using him as a heel manager is probably the best way forward. Well, the best way forward is him not being on TV at all. But if they use him as a heel manager, we can talk then. We can start to talk. We can maybe find a way forward. That's it. Was that Robin? I can't see who it was. The chat has Robin813. Shout out to you. Good shout. AEW won against NXT, but at what cost? Says J14. Raw was better, says Borg. And he's got Eva to look forward to at some. I know, yeah. What is honestly is outside, obviously, of the health problems and things. right? Because obviously there's awful things happening in the world. I'm not talking about health, and I'm not talking about people losing their jobs, okay? I'm just talking about we're all healthy, yeah? Just the healthy people, right? Forget the other stuff. Is anyone having a worse 2020 than me? Honestly, look at what they're doing, guys! Look at what wrestling... I've got such love for wrestling. I've got such love for wrestling. Like, why is it turning its back on me? Why is it treating me this way, guys? I just don't understand. Burn up on it, and I try to lift up the good wrestlers and talk about your Ben Carters and your Will Hobbs and your Ridge Hollands and your Dexter Loomises, and I like Big Swole, but she's a little bit green, and then it just goes, Days, hello, I'm wrestling. Oh, hello, wrestling, I love you. Yeah, I know. Just one thing, though. Why do you treat me this way, wrestling? I'm in an abusive relationship with wrestling. I'm just lurking, says John. Eva's coming back soon, says David. I know. John says, your 2020 sucks, says John. I know. Hey, look, it might get some of you through the day. If ever you're feeling a bit down or whatever, just go, well, at least I'm not Days. at least I'm not Days. He's being abused by one of the only things he loves. One of the only things that I've actually got time and love for. You know what I mean? I love Kia. Little Kia. I've got lots of time for Kia. I think I'm a good person as well. Have fun on these streams. Try to have a laugh. We try to have a good, vibrant community. Wrestling just comes along and... why are you spitting at me, wrestling? Why are you spitting in my face? If you don't like UFC and boxing, would you have the same opinion on Kane and... if they came from NFL, then yeah, of course. I mean, who would they be? They'd just be a couple of NFL guys, wouldn't they? Equally, if Pat McCarthy came from boxing or MMA, I'd be cooler on him. Straight up, honestly. If Pat McCarthy had just come in from UFC, I'd be giving him a chance right now. You'd get no hate from me. I'd be like, I hate this guy. I hate his attitude and everything. But equally, I'd be thinking, well, at least he's got something to bring. At least do you know what I mean? He's the MMA guy. Do you know what I mean? Like they had Matt Riddle. I mean, look, this is why you've got to respect Riddle. Riddle came from UFC, right? He's been training in all these different mixed martial arts. Got to UFC. I mean, even to get to UFC, you've got to be the best of the best. So he got to UFC, was doing well, just kept getting busted for cannabis. And as a result, he got kicked. And I think he said, like, you're going to regret that, Dana. And he went out and he worked the indie scene. He was doing progress shows and he was all over the indie scene, Evolve. And eventually got picked up by NXT. So, yeah, nothing but mad respect for the way that Matt Riddle went about it. I mean, that's great. Yeah, okay, so pro wrestling wasn't his first choice. He trained in other things, but they were still combat. And he went to UFC and he did the whole combat thing. And but still jumped in, but went about it the right way. Gotta respect how he has managed to get to where he is now. So, got a lot of time for Matt Riddle. Yeah, this is. I would say it's nothing personal about Pat, but it absolutely is because I don't like him as a person. It's very personal. I don't like him. And I don't like the fact that he hasn't come from a combat sport. How much do you rate NXT in 2018? Oh, I don't know, my friend. I'd have to look back at some of the matches and some of the feuds and things along those lines. I do think, though, that NXT, when it was on the WWE network, I do think it was a better show. I think that NXT works so much better as an hour-long show. I mean, again, tonight, imagine if it wasn't Pat McCarthy, it was someone else. Say Kevin Owens, right? Imagine you had that. Imagine then that you just cut out the bits you didn't like and you just whittled it down to an hour. That's what NXT used to be. It used to be a really solid hour. Really solid hour. Now that it's got to 2 hours, it's got a bit of fat in there. It's got a little bit of filler. It's got a little bit of... I didn't think about that. I did like the Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae. It was only a little moment. Tiny few minutes. The spin the wheel, and it was the buried alive thing. And then he spun it again, and it was a casket match. I did like that. That was good. That was good. How do you rate NXT in 2011? Dude, again, I'd have to go back and have a look. In 2011, it was still that game show, wasn't it? It wasn't at full... I don't think it moved to Full Sail till 2013. So you're talking about the pros and the rookies, which didn't quite work for me. It was exciting to see some of the rookies. I mean, that's obviously how Daniel came through, and it's how we got the Nexus. So some of the stuff that came out of 2010 NXT was very exciting. 2011, I can't quite remember. Was that like the Titus O'Neil class? And was that when they did the women's class as well? Or was that a little later? That might have been 2012, because AJ Lee came through as well, didn't she? So, because the truth was, they still had FCW. They had FCW, which was their NXT at the time. And then NXT was like a game show. And they were using the FCW talent. So, yeah, it was a very different beast. Ghost EP, shout out to you. Chalmers says Evolve should do the old NXT game show. A lot of wrestlers came from football and chose wrestling as a second choice. The Rock and Roman both chose wrestling as a second option. Yes, that's absolutely fine, but look at what Roman did. I mean, they both got into it still very young. Roman was in FCW putting in the hard graft. He certainly didn't have the Roman Reigns show on the side, making, sporadic appearances. He was day in, day out, working hard, putting the graft in, doing the house shows, working the circuit. Football didn't work out for him, but when did he bail? In his early 20s? I mean, you make it sound like Roman had a career till he was in his 30s and then went, I'll do wrestling now. That's not true. That's not painting an accurate picture. Same with The Rock as well. The Rock was... I don't know where The Rock went, actually. Obviously, he came in as Rocky Maivia. I can't remember where he trained. I don't know where The Rock trained. I'd look into that. But again, The Rock, he didn't have a big football career and then go off and do the Rock show and all of this. He went into wrestling early. I can't remember how old he was when he got into wrestling, but young. And from a wrestling, I mean, just as a side note, they're all members of the Anoa'i family. So, relations to Afa, Sika, the Wild Samoans, Yokozuna, Rikishi, they're all part of that same family. So they grew up with wrestling. I'm sure they were wrestling for a fact, they were wrestling as kids. So Pat McCarthy got that background. I don't know. All I know is he went into football. Women's NXT was season 3. Season 4 was mixed, says Jim Gore. They'd been doing it for years, says Michael. So it's less coming from football and more the fact that he hasn't had to work his way through the system like the rest of them. It's a bit of both. I mean, if you're going to be a football player, that's fine. If your dream, I mean, look, if you're going to grow up and your dream is that you want to be a football player, you want to be a basketball player, you want to be whoever, right? That's fine. But when you get into wrestling, you need to get into it, hopefully young. The older you are, the less time you're going to have in wrestling anyway. I mean, if you look after your body, you can probably get into your 40s. But honestly, unless you're like a genetic freak, you're probably going to struggle once you hit about 45, start going towards the 50s. Then you're going to have to start working a part-time schedule, which is what we've seen from the likes of The Undertaker in recent years. You could probably get up to like 47 or whatever. So, do I think that you can have a career in football, take all the knocks, all the punishment, all the damage, the training, do all of that, then come in and do 15 years in wrestling? I've never seen it. If Pat McCarthy's about to do that, he will be a trailblazer. So I've never seen someone have a full career in football and then jump over and have a full career in wrestling. I've never seen it. What this is a ratings grab at the moment. So yeah, I don't like the fact that he's dedicated his life to football and now wrestling seems like the afterthought. I find that disrespectful. I also don't think that there's much in the way of transferable skills. You can say training and things like, I mean, look, we can all throw words out there, but I mean striking, actual wrestling ability, things along those lines. I mean, you can sit here and go cardio, things like that. Well, you can say that about flipping chess. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could say, oh, well, he was a chess master, so, he can think for a long time. He's he can make quick calculations. That's transferable. So, you can make all these different things up, but is he coming in with, like, submissions? Is he coming in with, like, great wrestling ability? I would have to say no. I mean, he did do some training with Rip Rogers, as I said, but he's got no place in NXT. You know the truth. You know the truth. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. You know why he's there. He's there because he's a decent name. He's got his own show. The show does well. He's a personality, a known personality. And this is a ratings grab. That's what this is. It's a ratings grab. He likes the idea of playing wrestler, right? He's got an interest in wrestling. He's done a bit of training in wrestling. And he's friends with some wrestlers. So he's got a little interest in pretending to be a wrestler, right? NXT have got an interest in taking his popularity. So they're looking at it as win-win. I'm looking at it as what it actually is. A slap in the face. Something that I don't want to support. Because I think there's better people that can go in that position. So, look, we've banged on about this for long enough and we'll keep going round in circles. But, everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. Some people are going to be on board. Some people aren't. Some people are going to think it's a good thing to, get that bit of extra popularity. Some people are going to think that it's desperate. There's a scale on this, and wherever you sit is wherever you sit. And all I can do is give you what I see and tell you the truth. So, can I get a shout out before bed? Says DeAndre Love. Sure. Shout out to you, DeAndre Love Jr. Right, that is it. We've already gone way longer than I would ever expect to go. But, obviously quite a bit to digest there. I don't know where we go. Honestly, I don't know where we go from here. I mean, what I do know is we're back on Friday for SmackDown. I love the Roman J story at the moment. I think that's brilliant. So I'm really into that. I am looking forward, actually, to seeing what Twitter has said about the song and dance thing from AEW. I just think that it's going to be very polarizing. I think, as I said, the AEW fans will find it fun. And I think that the WWE fans are going to be all hating all over it. I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in the middle section. The kind of casuals, the people that float in between the two. I'm interested to know how they've read it. So, right, awesome. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us. Really appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed the Wednesday Night War anyway. And as we said, we will be back on Friday. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully, see you again next time. Bye for now.